All right, and we are in. Check one, check two, everyone. Make a quick talkie talk real quick to make sure that the audio has not crapped the bed.
This is me talking.
No, I can't feel my toes.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear y'all. We're good.
All right, groovy. Let me up Legends volume here. Okay. And okay, so we are starting.
All right, what's going on, everybody? This is Newtype Academy Flight School Sessions review stream. We'll come up with a cool name later, but the important part is we are here to look over all of the wonderful action and lessons that we had from this past Saturday. We've got our instructors here. We've got a wonderful guest that I will allow them to introduce. And hopefully everyone will be able to learn quite a bit from watching themselves get shot in the face. the way we all learn the best. And if you have questions, go ahead and shoot them out in the chat. I will be fielding them up and gathering it up, and then asking them probably like in between matches, or if there's a pause and after a particular subject is being talked about, then I will interject some questions if they're relevant. If they're not relevant, I'll kind of have them in a parking lot and then bring them up later. So just go ahead and throw the questions in there. You can either at Newtype Academy or you can at BLM Dynamite. That one would probably be better so I can make sure I see them. But other than that, I'm going to hand it over to Ace and Red Muffler Man.
I just gotta say something real quick here.
Introduce.
I like the fact that you were like, "Oh, I'm gonna keep those questions in the parking lot," but I was playing Melty Blood music at the beginning of the stream, so I can see a theme here.
There you go.
Oh man.
Oh.
But hello, I am Red Muffler Man, mid-level player extraordinaire. I'm also pretty decent with stream equipment, so hopefully we're not gonna have as many drop frames this time around. We got this.
Hi.
The key is to have VODs enabled.
Exactly.
That's the real.
Exactly.
Hey. I wasn't the one setting up the channel.
I didn't say any names. You could have took the fifth and been fine. You could have been out of here. I didn't
just let
say
that
anything.
go.
I already told
Me
people
think
it was
DDoS
my
protest
fault.
too much.
Oh man.
Oh man.
This is tearing us apart already.
Oh,
It's
man.
only been 1 week.
Just like Gundam, right?
Just like Gundam.
God.
Just like
There you
Gundam.
go.
Speaking of tearing people apart, let's get to the reviews. Also, Nishi is here. Hi.
I was about to
Nishi.
say, we still need to
Yeah.
introduce like 3 more people.
Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, I am ZGMF Testament / the Banyan / one of my Smurfs from like a few years ago, Nishikinomaki JP, and people have never let that last one go. But we're not here to talk about the past. We're here to talk about the future. And I'm a Beyond player and tournament organizer in Texas, although I haven't really organized Beyond anything because of the pandemic.
Obviously.
But yeah, basically, if you're in Houston, Texas, when the pandemic is gone or more manageable, you'll be hearing from me when I host tournaments, hopefully. But
And
yes,
he's a good guy.
Test is like maybe top 5 human beings on the planet, I feel.
I am not, but thank you, I appreciate it.
I mean, you can take that compliment and shove it if you like, but that doesn't stop it from being true.
All
He
right, we
knows
went from-
15. Don't.
I really want to beat you up right now for inserting a picture of Maki into my avatar.
Testament will do it.
You might.
He has the unicorn skills.
Oh no.
But no, I'm actually bad with unicorn now. But thank you.
Oh. Alright.
But Nick, thank you. I love you.
I love you too, Test. And then we also have Everyday Legend, who has not piped up to introduce himself yet.
No, of course not. I need no introduction.
I mean, you are a hero. You are the man,
Yes,
the
I'm
myth,
not.
the legend.
I'm not a hero.
I'm not a hero. And then finally,
I'm not a savior.
before-
Forget what you know.
oh my god. But then finally, we also have I'm So Anxious.
Oh, yes, that is me. I am incredibly anxious. Now, this is Ace Futalo Pilot, and I will be trying to give any insight that I can to help people realize what to do and what not to do.
All right.
Yeah, Ace is a very good veteran pilot. As you've seen from the preview videos of his Hainu moving around, or I would even say schmoving.
Schmoving, as some would say.
He's got an excellent grasp of positioning, excellent grasp of movement techniques. So yes, he's an amazing instructor for the Newtype Academy.
All right.
Hopefully, we will be able to show you useful moments of what is a good movement and what is a poor movement. So I think if that's everyone, we are good to move on. Is Dynamite here? Oh, Dynamite introduced.
Yeah, Dynamite's
us,
here.
actually.
Everyone's here.
He
Yeah.
did the introduction of introduction.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. In that case, okay, we've transitioned over. Now everyone can see. All right. With that, is everyone good to start the replay? So for those in chat right now, not in Twitch chat, but in Discord, make sure that you are watching the stream that I have set up in the Discord call. So, but without further ado, we are going to start this. Is there anything that you want to say first about this match before we start, Ace? Because I know you actually went through all of this stuff and kind of like made notes before before we started.
Yeah, I was hoping to make notes. Best laid plans of mice and men often go awry. These and my plans, most of all. Anyway, for this first match, we're looking at two participants from last week who came in and already had a really strong grasp of the fundamentals. So I'm hoping that by introducing this, we can see a good example of what we were trying to cultivate people to get to from last week. So I think we can just take a dry run of this, and if you cycle to Strike Rouge's point of view, we'll probably have a good view of some things going on.
All right.
There will be some dead space where we sort of stop interacting, and there's a lot of dialogue between me and the Rouge player who you can't hear. But we can either fast forward through that or whatever we need to do when we get there.
All right, let's go. And audio looks good. Yeah, audio looks good. So, whoop. We're doing through the magic of technology and Pop Player, all thanks to Everyday Legend, we are able to travel from mobile suit to mobile suit.
Yeah, this is actually a really great technology. Like, you could switch between the videos and the audio in this actual file. Like, it's actually kind of insane that we're not watching in-game footage. Well, I mean, we are watching in-game footage, but you get what I mean. We're not actually using the replay screen.
So we should be starting off in a minute here.
Okay.
But basically what we're looking at right now is... Oh, here we go, actually. So I'm just using some simple dual steps to move around. Just stall until I see a vulnerability on Strike Rouge to punish. I ended up making a misstep and going in the wrong direction, putting myself into a bad spot.
All right, just lots of clean neutral, almost boosted back into the BR.
Really, what I'm doing is I'm just holding fire off until he's getting close enough that, you know, I need to create some dead space.
I think it's important to note how often his landings are and from how high up they're not.
And you can see that in our Strike Rouge player and myself too.
But yeah, just taking a lot of landings, making sure you land in yellow, making sure you land in blue. It's all... Basically, when you're landing at such high boost, it makes it so that you can just chain your movements together way more quickly and be way more safe in most situations.
Yeah, I'm really actually impressed by the Strike Rouge player.
Yeah, because I remember during this session, like, you had the Strike Rouge, and then I had, what was it, the 7 sword? Or the double... There's too many Setsunas, I can't remember.
Sword.
Okay, it was 7 sword. All the Setsunas look the same to me. So, even though I play full saber, so I'm not allowed to talk, because I play both Quantas. But, like...
Oh, it's all good.
Oh, man. Like, I remember I was playing against the 7 sword, and, like, I think he got me down, like, actually, I'm looking at the health meter right now, and I think he actually just bopped me. I might be misremembering.
And just to point out, like, our Strike Rouge player here is consistently landing in sort of orange to blue boost gauge colors, and we've already stalled most of the timer away down to 50 seconds remaining about now.
Yeah.
And only now is the first kill on Strike Rouge made.
Yeah.
And I think I at a later point coax them into like firing a little more at me. Just like, just come on, we'll keep practicing, because they were pretty good.
Yeah.
And some moments here where I'm unable to like safely step in the right direction because I'm sort of trying to avoid any possible vector locking from the assists. It's less common on strike rouges, but I'm still used to doing that when I see assists hovering.
Okay.
Because if you do step, you end up maybe delaying keeping the assists where they are while you may be rotating around, and your opponent may be able to rotate freely while the assist anchors in place. That's
One thing you could maybe explain for a sec, vector locking in general?
Yeah, so there's actually a good example of that. If we go back into this replay,
Okay.
let's say,
that was still 29, so we're still on 29.
yeah.
Yeah. So where do you need me to go back to?
So let's go ahead and go in by about 20 seconds.
Alright. So we're already here at 20 seconds.
Oh, sorry, I meant 20 seconds further in.
Oh, so about 40 seconds?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, cool. So we're at 40. Let's go.
So let's watch for a little bit here. We haven't quite started where we were playing yet, but early on in the match, there's a point where I am vector locking, and if you would go ahead and swap to double X.
Alright. Me. Ah!
You did it!
God!
Oh.
Why?
Okay.
Ace, you buffed me!
This is Legends doing. Just like how I forgot to record the VOD, he forgot to record one of the point of views. But that's okay. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. Just like our good friend Miley Cyrus said.
Wow.
I'm so upset. I'm over here trying to take the dogs out to PE and I missed this.
Oh,
Oh,
God
you're good.
damn it. Meanwhile, I'm eating shit.
So we have to go back to Rouge actually, because I forgot this was the video.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's
I did it.
fine. So we're gonna.
It's okay. It really is like that sometimes.
Oh my God! I just had a small
That was-
heart attack.
I thought it was a different video.
So about here.
Yeah, about here. Anyway, watch. We'll keep watching until we see Double X bring out the assist for the first time.
Oh, so right. So like, what happened just there?
So that was an example of vector locking. We saw an example of it earlier there. It was from a bit more narrow vector though.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at your radar, go ahead and pause it. So I can actually freely draw on this. I forget that we have the marvels of technology.
We have the marvels of technology. We are able to draw circles. We're actually NFL stuff here right now. This is the NFL.
We are. There's mine. So
Yeah, Nick, thank you so much for setting this up.
Oh, that's all good, my dude.
So excuse me while I get my bearings here and I make my brush a little thicker.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that should work. So let's move it to the right a little.
Okay, there we go. Yes, I was terrified. I was hoping that the brush was gonna work, and it worked. Oh, geez.
Okay, so I can't actually get far right enough onto the drawing tool to draw on the radar, but that's okay. So sort of, let's make a little diagram over here. Here's our radar. You can probably see that. I'm going to make quadrants. Now let's say you're this X here. Your target is this circle.
Mm-hmm.
And your partner is this plus. Vector locking is something you can do if you have your partner in a formation similar to this one, where this X is moving into this circle and the plus is also moving into this circle.
Uh-huh.
What this does for us is that when we have our target here and there are bullets. Let's say these are bullets
Mhm.
coming at from source at the target's 2 o'clock, as well as targets. Man, how's the fucking clock work? The target's
6
3
o'clock
o'clock,
and 3 o'clock. Yeah.
Yes.
6 o'clock, and 3 o'clock. Thank you, Nishi.
No problem.
So from 6 and 3, we have bullets coming into our opponent. They're unable to move in either this direction or this direction. They have to sort of kind of move here or here if they're hoping to avoid the damage, or here's some college geometry for you. They gotta manipulate their z-axis so that they're somewhere in between them, going up and down, and it's pretty difficult to control all that directional movement. So by getting that vector lock, oh my god, I can't control z anymore.
Oh, I mean, you
Uh,
have an eraser. You can do it.
Yeah, you guys probably figure out by now, I don't use image manipulation tools. I just refer to them as image manipulation tools. So there we go. I'm a scientist by trade. I use spreadsheets.
Fair.
Anyway, yeah, the idea is that we're just limiting our target's area of movement
Mhm.
so that they can't possibly escape any of the incoming shots fired at them. And if we continue, we should see an example of that from Double X's assists.
Okay. Let's here.
Probably see something interesting along the way too.
So that was when I barely murdered the 7 sword in the background.
Yeah.
I think I literally, at that time, had like 20 HP left. And I was like sweating bullets.
There's a little block.
Okay.
So, if I can ask a question, Ace,
Yes.
just from a new player's perspective, I noticed that some of those situations you just decided to shield up. What parts of what moments do you decide? Is it instinct or is it just experience? A little bit of both. Like instead of relying, because we talk so much about movement, right, being
Right.
the primary defense,
So-
right? But then there were moments where you decided like I'm going to shield up here, and it didn't look like you were out of boost, but you still decided to shield.
And I wasn't out of my boost. I probably could have stepped those shots or boost dashed out of the way. The thing is that when you're shielding, the animation to shield is very short.
Mhm.
You can throw up a shield very quickly, and as long as you get the input right and don't accidentally step forward or something or step backwards, you're not going to eat that shot. You're going to shield very quickly and you're going to like absorb that shot very quickly. The problem is that if you get too comfortable with doing that at close ranges, or if your opponent has a machine gun, they're able to pin you down while you're blocking, and they'll be able to circle around you and stagger their shots so that they can freely punish your backside.
I see.
Yeah, they can essentially
you
set
are
up
completely.
unblockables.
So if I need to
I see.
if I'm feeling pressed for time and I want to minimize the if I feel like I have like a very short amount of time to avoid a shot, I'm probably going to try to shield personally. For those particular shots, I may have been able to step or boost dashed out of the way. I personally just have a habit of blocking, which is an ace thing, I suppose. It does work how I said though. You know, if you really press for time and you have to block and you can't like step or boost dash out of the way, your best option is to block and pray you don't get punished for blocking.
see.
So
Mhm.
I see.
This is a bit advanced, but also blocking safe shots that you know won't get you punished will also help build up burst.
Yes.
it's true too.
Yeah, it's not a lot, but there will be times where you are extremely close to burst, but you're
Yeah.
at 200 HP and you don't really want to eat a combo that takes you down to 50.
I should say that that was probably really popular in full boost and vanilla. I think they've really reduced the amount of EX gauge that you gain from blocking.
I see.
So
It's 2.5% on the first initial hit.
Yeah.
And then
You get-
everything after that is nothing. So like you walk
yeah.
an
that is
arrow,
also a
you
good
get
thing to
nothing
note. You're
for
not
it,
gonna
except for the
get
first
a
hit.
lot of burst blocking 20 shots. So if you
Exactly.
see an opportunity to get out, get out.
So in light of that, if you see a machine gun, you're probably better off to take one of the bullets and hope you step the remaining 2 before it staggers you.
Ugh.
Rather
But
than
that is
trying
to
to
say
block.
too, if you do block often enough to where it's like decent, like if you know you can avoid it and it's off, I mean, it's far off and you can like respond to it or react to it, then if you block 5 or 10 of them, that's an easy 25% meter.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, guard asked in ZGMF Testament, you just kind of answered this, but taking it one step deeper, he said, or they said, isn't it better to block if you won't get punished to build meter? And we kind of went over that, but furthermore, I would ask, if you are double locked, that's less likely of a time for you to block. Is that correct? Depending on how, like if you're in that vector lock, for instance,
Yeah.
blocking won't save you, correct?
Yeah, so this is a 1v1 scenario. So I have more safer opportunities to actually block. If in a 2v2 scenario, we're talking about an extra body who can shoot at you from conceivably any of the 12-ish directions around you. And so you're really trying to minimize your the damage you're taking rather than maximizing the burst you're getting with evasion. So I prefer not to think of blocks as a way to build meter primarily, but rather as a way to quickly absorb damage I couldn't otherwise avoid.
Okay, that makes
That's a
sense.
good philosophy.
So while you do get some burst from it, while there is that secret benefit, it's more of like a very passive reward to decide to making a good decision. Like, okay, I do have to block this, rather than saying, oh, I should block this to exploit this very small reward.
It's like saying you're not going to buy a sandwich to get a punch on your card.
Yeah, that's
a good way of putting it.
Why buy today's special if you don't like today's special?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put
like,
it. That's a good way to put it.
What are you really
Yeah.
gaining? It's like a cool bonus, but it's not the reason you showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. If there's no other questions, we are about to get to that vector lock thing that you'll see in the moment.
All right, let's do this.
So here I am. The assists on double X follow a lot more slowly. And here it goes. They tag him right from the side.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go back. Hold on. Let's go back.
Yeah.
The power
Right
of
there.
rewind.
So now with the power of frame by frame. So you would set up your assist essentially, and then moved at a position to where the assist would actually hit him from the side while you shot him from the front.
Yeah, it's a lot more difficult to do on double X because you can't do anything to make the assists stay in place, other than know that they follow you very slowly, and they stop for a notable period after they fire a shot.
Okay.
So what you'll probably do on double X specifically is you'll fire a first shot to get them to anchor in place, try to guide your opponent in the course of like 3 seconds, so that they vector lock themselves between yourself and the bits.
All right.
And here you are. They're following slowly towards me.
Yeah, I see them.
And I'm about to fire another shot to lock them
Oh,
in
I
place.
see it. Okay, so the assists are over here on
Yeah.
the left. Ace gets ready
cool.
to
And he just raises the
fire,
rifle.
but you can see
You're using
the
the
assist
bit to
getting
create
ready
a
to fire.
corridor.
So you essentially
Yes.
set up a pseudo crossfire situation.
Yeah, you set up
Yeah.
a corridor. It's awesome.
Oh. And then
then
because
how
of the
you're
fact that
getting-
they don't move after you firing, you basically use that opportunity to keep that positioning to set it up again. And that
Yes.
time it hit because
Yeah.
he wasn't in the air.
Yep.
And,
And-
he's on landing too, so you just got doinked in the butt cheeks.
And that's why you'll probably see me do a lot of out of angle shots, and I'm personally just bad at remembering to do my fastball cancel with double X. But yeah, that's probably why you'll see me do a lot of back turn shots, and that's why they integrated the fastball so it doesn't punish you for trying to set up these vector corridors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Naruhodo, I understand.
And so that's a very small way in which, so maybe you're in like a 10-second push, because engagements will probably last for about 3 seconds to 10 seconds until you can regroup with your partner or someone gets downed that you can reposition. And so you do need to sort of like handle this setup in like a really short amount of time. And I wasn't even thinking of it at that moment. I'm just really used to playing with double X and how the assists follow me around, that I know I can set up a vector lock most times by doing that sort of movement pattern I did.
And
That's
that's something
cool,
I
though.
kind of want to like bring up for a second here. It isn't talking specifically about the vector locking stuff, but kind of a good way to approach this game is you're able to think of about a lot of this game, I feel, in very, very broad strokes, where you don't have to think about everything in terms of each individual movement, but the sequence of movements together. And that's kind of how you end up formulating how you want to move, as well as how you do almost anything in this game. Like, I almost never think of tools in isolation.
Yeah, and that's like another reason why this game just takes a lot of hours to practice and get good at. Because you can't afford to micro think about these little things.
This is like
And-
the antithesis of like Street Fighter V, kind of, where it's like a lot of Street Fighter games, it's about I'm gonna shimmy back and forth in fusis and like actually like get that little bit of micro spacing to make it to where that roundhouse will whiff and I can whiff punish. Whereas with this, you're always usually thinking of like 2 or 3 movements in sequence and how those are going to work, because there's so much information that you have to process that if you're thinking of just that like little bit of like micro stuff, then like you're just gonna get bopped because it's not broad enough of like a concept to really work, I guess. I'm not really phrasing that well, but do you get what I mean?
Well, Red Muffler Man is right, and a friend of mine actually put this out in a really good way. It's kind of like playing guitar or like playing at like a band. If you're stopping to think about what you're doing, you're gonna mess up the song.
Yeah, you just come to feel the song, and like with Gundam, you just come to feel the match.
And if this all sounds like a very advanced, like, number one, the beginners are in the same boat as you are, the beginners. So everyone's like still trying to get their stuff together. You have time. Give yourself patience. This stuff, it can take a bit to build, but I mean that's why you're here, to get this stuff down as efficiently as you can. But again, be patient with yourself because this is a lot of stuff to take in.
Yeah.
Would you say that it's smart, at least where like I see like how you played that double X situation, it's kind of the way I try to play, or I'm at least trying to learn how to play, is where I am trying to convince someone else to either move or land in such a way that I'm able to pull my preferred bullshit.
Yeah, that is a bit of a challenge to develop. The best way to know how to do that is to sort of abuse the fact that someone can't know what you're thinking, and then leverage what they do know about you. So if this were a normal match, we can probably talk about that more when we get into the regular matches a little later, because you might see actual examples of those. But the idea is like a basic strategy I would use in full boost and maxi boost Arn now is if I'm a 3,000 cost suit, I'm going to ignore the highest cost opponent of mine. If they're 2,500 or 3,000, I'm probably going to try to ignore them and try to take pot shots at the 2,000 and make it look like I'm making pushes. And I'm going to hope that my partner is able to intercept the 2,500 or 3,000 that is trying to punish me for making pushes. But I'm not really making pushes. I'm trying to make these micro commitments, if you will. I'm trying to make him think I'm committing, but I'm really not. And so I'm hoping my partner does all the work for me, and I just look like delicious 3,000 cost bait.
And then another good way to think about this in terms of the numbers game, like mechanically, is Oh gosh, am I actually going to be drawing a thing? Oh, I am. Okay. So, let me hope I do this right, because oh my good golly gosh, this is gonna be a little awkward. Okay, I'm moving this over here for a sec, activating, and so notice this, like right up here. That's the target reticle indicator. That's like the target indicator. And those will always appear when someone is locked onto you. They are yellow when someone's looking at you, and they are red when someone is actively attacking you. You can take advantage of these in terms of what Ace was talking about, where you can literally not look at the opponent, and they can have a visual indicator that they are not getting looked at you, that you are not looking at them. So you can take advantage by flicking over to one person for a second to get that indicator going, and then swapping back. And that's kind of how you can kite some people, is make them think they aren't looking at you, or that you're looking at them for a second, and then switch over to be like, oh, they're not looking at me anymore. I can go back to them, and then swap back. Like, target swapping
I've noticed that too.
Yeah, target swapping is just a small thing that you can do sometimes, because of that indicator existing, that you can use that to bait people. And I don't even feel that's like a super high level, like, it's a super high level concept, I feel, in terms of like why you would do it, but actually executing it is like, you can do that like right now, no matter what level that you're at. As long as you at least have the idea of that in mind, and you're playing against people that you think will use those target indicators, go for it.
I'll say it is a bit of a faith exercise for things like, oh, I'm going to look away from this person so that they don't think I'm looking at them. But I'm also going to maybe like track them on the radar and trust that it's going to go how I hope.
Yeah.
And I guess, and it's probably a bigger faith exercise if you're trying to boost dash away from someone while looking at their other like, I'm really hoping that these shots aren't, tracking me really well. These steps work, right?
Oh man, let's hope so.
Whenever I see people like get knocked down, I'll actually actively switch off of them just to take away the indicator on their HUD.
Yeah.
Just so they know I'm not looking at them. So that it's like, oh, I'm going to wake up with impunity. And then I turn around and just clock them in the teeth.
Yeah. All right, so are we good to actually get back to the replay now, I think?
Yes.
Yeah, we are.
We have about all of 40 seconds left.
Oh, snap.
Otherwise, no, a lot of what you see here is just me choosing to make some blocks instead of steps and dashes. I get pinned for a few things because, I can't say exactly what was going through my head. I may have landed poorly there. It was a good block punish.
Yeah.
So, like, I just tried to block. It was, like, a good example of why not to block. There you
got
go.
right outside your block angle.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of what our opponents are doing, they're just landing in red or overheat as they're making a commitment to a push. And when they're not doing that, they're just landing in blue or yellow or orange percentage of their boost gauge.
All right, and do we want to take a look at the 7-sword perspective now?
We can also take a quick look at him and make some hot remarks, because he was also very capable.
There we go.
Our good friend.
Our good friend Amuro Ray and Sandwich Kun. So I remember this in particular. So I was going in, and I think I was hot off of like my first or second person that I had played with at this point. And
you thought you were going to have lunch.
And it was not that I thought I was gonna have lunch. That's rude. But I was over here like, oh, okay, so like, I feel like I have a general idea of what the skill level I'm gonna be playing with is. And then all of a sudden, you're gonna see it coming here in a second. Because right now I'm playing some pretty crispy neutral, but he's playing pretty safe. He's playing in like blue or yellow. So I decide, I think it's around here, that I'm gonna take a somewhat aggressive landing. If it ever comes up. Or maybe, is this the second one? Is this actually the second one where I actually just keep him out?
This is a later match.
Oh, this is the later match? Okay, never mind. So,
yes.
What I was talking about happened in the first match, and then in the second match, I learned my lesson, and I decided to never take an aggressive landing against this man.
Oh, that's really good.
That was a good grab.
That was such a good wire. Oh my god. But a lot of, like, what you'll notice is just... We're both just playing relatively safe. but the 7 sword is just sort of taking some somewhat nasty landings on occasion. They might be using a little too much boost or landing a little bit too close. And then the rest of it's just us talking.
Hodor, the VODs are available. They were in one of the tweets that went out. I don't know if they're still up on the Google Drive, but when we do these replays, we do provide links to these VODs so everyone can follow.
I'm wondering if they're
along
talking
at
about the
their
VODs
leisure.
from the last stream.
He means the VOD from the last stream. I didn't record
okay.
it.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not around.
That's
Yeah.
lost. This will still be available. Thankfully.
You can blame me because first I didn't turn on past broadcasts for the Twitch channel, and then secondly, I thought I was going to be correctly formatting my hard drive that happened to have the streams on it, so that I could load up my replay file and move it to a different PS4.
Yes.
Turns out that the PS4, despite citing only my FAT32 partition, formatted my whole drive. So
Ooh.
it was, I was really sad.
Ooh. That's rough, buddy. I think it's
Yeah.
here. I think I'm just like kind of
Just
explaining
talking.
movement stuff. So there's really not a lot going on here. So I guess
Yeah, I think you guys stayed chilled after your first kill.
so I guess just kind of go back here, and I guess let's just talk about this a little bit.
Let me actually do this as well. I'm gonna drop the Google Drive link in here. So I'm gonna
Thank
go
you,
ahead and
Leighton.
add that to chat in case anyone in here doesn't have it.
Mhm.
All of these replays are available on the Google Drive. They are all MKV format. We are using Pot Player because it is just beautiful and works well. And thanks, Red.
Yeah.
So the idea is that you can actually look at this in the comfort of your own home on your own time, and whatever we decide to go through, we're going to release them early to allow everyone else to kind of look at them. And if you have questions, comments, fears, hopes, doubts, you'll be able to actually go back and like, hey, remember that part in this match here? What was going on with this? And then we can actually help you out with that or explain it.
Yeah, yeah.
So that is the hope. Yay, technology.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at what Eli was doing here, because I think this is the point where I decided, just from my perspective, that I wasn't gonna go in. I was just going to poke a ton at him. I'm just gonna utilize Delta Plus's strengths and sort of just poke a ton, throw a ton of shit on screen, and not really have to worry.
So like right here, that wasn't even strictly a landing punish, in the idea that most beginners might think, oh, I landed in orange and then my partner's going to shoot at me. No, you really anticipated that he's going to take a landing, and by the time he lands, my bullet's going to hit him regardless if he's in yellow or orange burst. And sometimes you can get close enough to make those kinds of shots. But not always.
Like, I think a good way to think about landing next to people is the distance, in terms of when you land well, in this case, it's just the fact that I had thrown out the assist and I fast fell backwards, but I'd gotten in a position to where I was at like I was close enough to say that like I was in like an optimal threat range to where I could threaten what would normally be a safe landing, essentially.
Yeah, and you did threaten that landing.
So it's one of those things where if you're wanting to try to punish people for taking landings that would normally be what you would consider like safe, you just kind of have to get into that range. Like, because like the closer you are, the easier it is to punish landings, obviously. And granted, that was also somewhat of like a pretty low landing. That was almost orange.
It was pretty low. It was yellow to orange. I would have said orange if I going off memory. May have been yellow.
It looked like yellow, but like on the cusp of orange. But anywho, like, it's just a ton of, like, step back, fast fall, just doing safe stuff. 7 sword, having to kind of work his way in.
Yeah, and you don't see, like, easy entry points for 7 sword. He's trying to use, like, Fua steps to, like, give safe landings in. If there's anything, like, I would say to his general style here, he would probably benefit more trying to get a little closer just by dashing along the ground and then stepping from that dash.
Or also,
But that was
one thing I would recommend, for just 7 Sword in particular for this matchup. I feel like he might have also, and I think I brought this up to him at the set during the set, but it was right at the very end because I forgot 7 Sword could do it. 2BC into step for the landing recovery cancel, or the Pionkaku or whatever it is called.
Yeah, that is a good like peon that you can abuse. So like it at least changes your Z-axis really quickly, like you saw there.
Yeah, and right here, he was using it like right at the end, and I feel like if he had used more 2BC from the start, I would have had a much harder time pinning him down with Delta Plus, because Delta Plus's strengths are that if you're just moving kind of normally, I can basically punish you for any sort of like vernier or like any sort of unsafe thing that you really do. But if you're starting to like hop around with 2BC, then you don't have to worry about the beam rifle shots, and the only thing you feasibly have to be afraid of, I think, are like the missiles.
Yeah. So, something like that. For 7 Swords, when I play 7 Swords, I feel a little unsafe doing the 2BC a lot, just because it has a slower descent, and if I'm using a peon, I may be trying to abuse the fast descent portion of it.
Oh,
But
also,
benefit of 7 Sword is that you do rise quickly, and so you can drastically change your elevation if you need to.
there's
So
something
we
that I
have
want to
a-
point out.
Go ahead.
I'm so sorry, Dynamite, but
No, go for it.
the Pionkaku effect, you don't get it if you do overheat. Like if you end it in overheat, you don't get it.
Yes.
So be sure that if you do it, that you have some boost left.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say too, because like he ate shit because he overextended himself quite literally.
did. Yeah.
So like, I know from playing Altron, if you do that, or even Spiegel the same way, if you try to do that where you can like step cancel the landing, if you're in reds or in overheat, no.
But now I kind of want to go
So-
back to this little bit real quick here, because I feel like right here, he
Right there,
actually
yeah.
could have changed, like, the way this gone, like, yeah, right there, because he'd overextended
Yeah.
really hard. He had already basically, let me look at there again. I'm trying to remember everything about this match. Okay, so he doesn't
land-
finish the down, and because of that, he wasn't able to get the landing. But I feel like here, instead of going for the Vernulus Garrow, where he doesn't finish the down, he may have been better off of just doing the 2BC, landing, and then stepping once he had landed, and then doing his main.
Yeah, and Aqua's right too. He would have caught him with a CC8B, but again, I personally probably would have just taken the landing rather than trying to follow up a Vernier the Scarrow.
I agree.
Unless I'm wing 0, then I just try to
Oh my
AB
god.
by habit.
Because one
Yeah,
thing
because
to keep...
you get punished.
sorry. One thing I think to keep in mind here is that I literally am showing this dude my back. So
Yeah.
I think at this point, doing the 2BC down and then stepping and doing a Vernierless main would have been perfect. Because since I'm showing you my back, I am forced to Vernier. Unless I do... Like, yeah, I'm forced to Vernier, even if I'm doing a fast fall. That's still, like, a little bit of time where I'm still Verniered, and you are able to still duff me with a Vernierless Garrow.
Yeah.
And you're definitely
And-
close enough to where if I'm taking what would be considered an aggressive landing here, you can totally punish me for it.
Yeah. This is Trust Nobody right there.
So there's a question by Fueled by Queso. Great name, by the way.
Oh, that's such a good that's such a good handle.
Can you explain / show what exactly these fast falls via assist look like?
Yes, actually, I totally can.
Because we have so much technology.
Because
let's upload
I
them.
am apparently a techno lord. Let me pause this endless duel OST that I've been putting up on under everything, and we are going to transition. Bam. Tell me if that's actually showed up.
I'm actually not playing the stream because of.
Uh,
Yeah, I see it.
okay, cool. So let me.
Also,
Actually, I'm
dual
picking
OST,
Exia.
my man.
So this is totally something I can show off because I'm Exia. So Exia, he's really cool. He has an assist, and essentially, what you would want to do a lot of the time or what I was doing a lot with Delta Plus was, hang on, okay. I'm playing on pad, and I don't normally play on pad, but I have to because of remote play. Is essentially, I'll do shit like this. Except I'll step back before that, so let me get the assist back. God, playing on pad is so hard. Alright, so... Playing on pad is so hard, oh my god. Alright, hang on. I promise I got this. Stuff like that. So essentially, you call your assist... You step, and then you call your assist. Stepping cuts the tracking, and it makes it to where if there's some shit flying at you, it will stop tracking your general position. And then you hit main, and you will just fall to the ground. And it's a very safe way to where if you're taking just a simple boost hop, or, like, maybe you've spent a little too much boost, and you still feel you want to land safely and make some space, you are able to change up your landing timing to where if they're going for a specific landing timing that they can punish, you're changing that up. But you're also throwing a lot of extra shit on screen to where if they're trying to fly at you willy-nilly, you're at least throwing shit out to protect yourself. And because I'm Exia, I have 2 fast falls because I'm privileged. And I also have special movement because I'm privileged.
The idea behind a fast fall is like, if you think of in terms of geometry, where say you're coming in from the air and you're going to take a hop, you're going to have like a parabolic arc, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A fast fall cuts that arc and drops you. It stops your momentum and you fall straight down.
Mm-hmm.
We can also change the dimension the arc is going into, so that helps us do things like evade the vector lock that Double X locked in my Strike Rouge opponent on.
That's what I was explaining here too, is Double X has one with his assist when his bits are already out.
Yep.
You can actually call bits again in the air and it's like an empty call, but it will stop your momentum cold and you will drop like a stone.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of the time it takes for you to travel that arc as a straight line down, you're going to hit the ground sooner.
And then one other thing I would like to show, because this is used for fast falls that I feel... Because, you know, it's a fast fall, so you're like, oh yeah, that means I can go into the air, and I can drop myself down really fast, right? But there's a lot of people that also don't seem to understand immediately that you can actually use fast falls really close to the ground, and use those to not only cover yourself by throwing out an assist and throwing bullets to cover your landing, but also making it to where you change up the timing and speed of your landings to let you take some really aggressive shit that you normally wouldn't be able to take. So say I'm Exia, and I want to land right next to this RX-78 and take boost advantage. Boost up. Look how fast that landing is. It's still in blue, so I can move right after. And I'm also covering myself, so if he chooses to Vernier or something as a self-defense option with, like, say, Step Bazooka or, like, Step Main or something, that little step that I took along with the assist is probably going to be enough to get me out of the way of that, depending on what direction I step. And from there, I am in a full boost advantage situation if I did not get hit for attempting to take an aggressive landing. And that's why suits like Exia or Sananju or like suits that have fast fall assists can use them to really... To use a Street Fighter term or like a fighting game term, you're basically stealing your turn from people. Or you're stealing a turn, essentially. Is you're going up to someone, you're taking boost advantage, going right into their face, and you're just like, if you don't challenge me for this, I am stealing this turn. Is essentially the way I like to use a lot of assist fast falls. That's how I use them, like, offensively, at least. But is there anything else that anyone else would like to add on this?
I just wanted to make a joke that you're basically playing Gundam Versus when you do that.
Yes, actually,
you know,
you're literally step diving in someone's face. That's actually that's where I kind of intuited it. Was I'm originally a Gundam Versus player, and literally what I would do is I would melee up to people with like 6Bs, and if I could do inputs right, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Also, Queso, it's good that you're asking about this because I know, like, we're people already cultivating this environment. Thank you, Legend, but thank you, Nick, Ace. But you definitely want to ask questions if you're not sure about something, or if you want to see like a practical application, because a lot of the stuff in this game may not be like immediately obvious as to what their benefit is.
Yeah.
So don't worry about like sounding stupid or like sounding like you're not getting what's obvious, because a lot of times it really isn't that obvious.
So much
So,
of
yeah,
this game is just not intuitive. I will say it
have
right
played-
now.
I have
Yeah.
played this game for 9 years and I'm still an idiot.
No, same. Well, not 9 years for me. For me, it's only been like 3.
Not 9 years for me, but yeah.
I'm still definitely an idiot.
I also definitely did you.
Yeah, it's there. I mean, you can get different answers to your questions too if they're not just like how to technically do something, because you know, a lot of times
Situational.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times I'll ask questions you know, and Red Muffler Man or Legend or Ace will say, you know, well, that really depends, right? And so don't be afraid to, even if you've asked a question before, just go ahead and ask it again, because the only way I find myself improving is when I start doing things and I didn't think to do it. I was like, oh, I just did that. You know, it's like I already did it, and I did it off of really just being ingrained into my muscle memory. You know, I wasn't consciously trying to do it. I just like, oh, I'm starting to incorporate this thing that before it was like, oh, I have to remember to do this. So the same thing goes with questions.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Dynamite.
That's a good question about TG3's assists.
Oh.
Because you say GG Easy states that their assists can cancel into 2B and call that a fast fall. I guess that is technically a fast fall, strictly speaking. It's just that you're probably thinking of it exclusively as like, oh, I'm going to use this Vernier action to enter a non-Vernier state where I just follow the laws of gravity and drop down, which isn't exactly what TG3 does. TG3 forces himself down, but that is still technically a fast fall. It's a means to control your landing.
Does it cost boost?
Yes.
It does.
I was about to say, so that's actually more of a boost-reliant tool.
It's
It's
kind of like
actually a boost dive, pretty much.
It's literally a
It's a-
boost dive.
it's a proto boost dive.
Yeah,
We've had since vanilla, I think.
yeah.
Oh my god, I hate Super Vernier so much.
It is. Oh god, it takes me forever to
hate
get
this
used
thing.
to it. Yeah.
All right, what button is assist on this thing again? AC?
It's sub.
Sub? Okay. Oh god, sub, my worst enemy.
Oh wait, no. Is it? I can't even remember. I never played TG3.
I'm pretty sure it's
I haven't-
BC actually.
It's
It's
probably
BC. It is indeed BC.
I have not played TG3 since vanilla. I am sorry.
But no. Like, yeah, you can essentially use this in a very similar fashion to how you would use a fastfall. The way you would do it is just literally, I would step before you call the assist, and then just 2B. And you're essentially getting that same type of movement, and you can use it in a very similar fashion. So, like,
The thing.
Calling the assist stop your momentum? Like, do you have to stop in order to call the assist?
it does Vernier you, but the thing is you're stepping right before it, so anything coming
Yeah,
at you,
you've already broken track.
you've already broken the tracking, and then you 2B, which also moves you back a little bit, which is kind of nice.
So basically, you're saying in the air, step, call assist, and cut your altitude.
Yes.
Try doing this. Try doing it again, but backwards,
Okay.
facing away from him.
Oh, I didn't get the
That's actually
backstep.
really neat.
I did not get the backstep.
Oh, sorry, not backstep. I mean facing away from.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Let's see if this is actually auto-facing.
Because it should work regardless of the direction you're facing for TG.
It is auto-facing, yes. So, in other words, even if you are out of angle, you can do that and essentially be
Go
able to
around
cut
him
your
with it.
tracking, which is actually a very strong defensive tool.
Yeah, that's nasty. That's a nice little answer.
Yeah, so if someone's chasing you with TG3, for instance, it just means you can be all like...
You can hit it with the Bugs Bunny no.
Pretty much, actually. Pretty much. That's the best way I can put it. Or that's the best way to put it. Oh my god, I hate this thing. Okay, there we go. God, Super Vernier is just... My brain is fried. But we got the general concept across, though, so that's good.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I personally think we may have spent enough time on the first replay.
I believe so as well. So let's head on over to the next one.
It has been about an hour, I think.
The next one should not take as long, because we were mostly just talking about a lot of
I-
concepts.
I also think that we're all four of you are kind of laying down some essential concepts to understand as we move forward. So I don't think that's a bad thing because you know, for me a lot of times like I've watched I don't even want to say how many hours of footage of Mban at the moment, just trying to watch high level matches or matches of suits I'm interested in, or to see if there are certain setups that I can't figure out my way around mentally. And so every time I go back after understanding something different, it's like watching a new match, even though it's the same match over again.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So I think this is the type of game where laying down that foundation is fine. And so like the other replays that we start to look at, we have that kind of foundational knowledge from the session already.
All right, so what replay do we want to go to next then?
Do we want to go straight to the 3 matches then and skip the second
I
one?
think going to the actual matches would be beneficial.
I think that may get us a lot more too.
Yes.
So let's go for
I
that.
agree.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right, which one did you say? You like cut off at the end there.
Oh, sorry. Let's go to number 9, M09.
M09.
I think it's M09. Yes, M09.
All right.
This is
Oh snap! I'm still playing Age 1. I got a feeling.
your age 1 here. Yeah. You know, I'm not sure who's best to watch from. Possibly Sinanju.
All right.
So let's see how Sinanju's moving along.
All right. So I can already say one thing about the assist usage was a little risky, but it ended up working out.
Again, you weren't in a bad spot to afford to not be able to take that risk, but not really the best use of resources.
Yeah.
You're also not overcommitting your boost so far. The dash straight up was a little odd. Sorry, jump.
Alright, does it?
That was a pretty good. That was a pretty good commitment, save for the fact that we couldn't win the down.
And this is tragic.
Yeah, we. Have you heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Lion?
Okay, good burst. That's something I probably could have mentioned on the last life, though, was that you did not half burst, and that's huge.
That's always a negative.
So I definitely feel, even though it's not the topic for this, the importance of bursting might be something we need to bring up.
I agree with you. Actually, Nagato Zaku has like a good English sub video on this.
Yes.
That I think a lot of people need to watch.
But we can bring that up a little more in our second run through. So that was the dry run.
I agree.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the beginning. And do we want to continue following Shinanju?
Let's move to the Zabanya, just because I'm pretty sure I maintain a good view of the field the whole time.
Okay. Trying to call out Berniers with the snipes. Rifle bits galore.
For me personally, Sinanju hasn't made a big push, so I was sort of ignoring him till then. And I kind of just ignored his little push there because he wasn't making a good use of his melee to approach. He sort of approached awkwardly. And that was where he sort of just jumped straight up
Yes.
early, where he got hit by the Spallo.
Gotcha.
And now let's go back on that.
Okay.
Let's look at that approach and try to break down those elements.
All right. From the from Zabanya's or Sinanju's perspective.
Let's switch to Sinanju's and go back to his last landing from here.
Okay.
Something to say.
So here we go.
Alright, so we're getting closer. Okay, yeah, that's the big sticking point right there. So we'll go back a little more.
Oh, that block's so good.
Okay, so there's the block. So about here.
Yeah, yeah, right there. He's going straight for this. He's not taking a moment to land
Yeah, he fully committed, and he gets
right here.
Yeah.
He should have landed right there. Before he did that extra boost dash to make a push.
Even though he got the
Like-
landing punish, though?
Even though, so like,
Even though he got the landing punish, basically, I'm so sorry. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
no,
go
no,
ahead.
no. I'm trying to get you to go back. Let's go back frame by frame. And
Alright. Let's see. Let's make sure we're all on the same page here. So frame by frame
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Rewind space time.
we're going to
I love
mash
Gundam.
the heck out.
I love Gundam.
You have the power
Unicorn.
of. Oh my god, you have the power of the psycho
I
frame.
have the power of the psycho frame.
Uh,
Alright, and you're saying land here.
Yes.
Alright, because that's what I was thinking.
yes.
And I feel like in a normal situation, he definitely would have wanted to land here. But, yeah, he still could have made that push, actually. He still definitely could have made that push by landing here.
I wouldn't have said that was a secure push, just because we're already close to yellow on our boost gauge. So
Yeah.
here's where we should have taken a landing, and here's where we don't. So let's play it forward a little. Can you play it 0.75 times speed?
I do not... Broad.
It's in the control panel.
Playback. Yeah, I actually don't remember how to play. Actually, I do...
Found out the bottom's probably gonna
Holding
do it.
space.
That's
Yeah. So something like that. Okay.
That's okay, but anyway, where it looked like he had like this secured punish, from my perspective as Zabanya, I wouldn't have really felt threatened, because I had known that I'd already sent my bits. And you do see that animation coming up as he's making that landing. So I feel like if you knew the Zabanya matchup, you might have recognized that and could have taken the landing, or if you recognized it late, and you had already like in your fingers had already committed, because it's like braking when you're driving a car. You'd like start braking 0.35 seconds after your brain realizes that you should be braking, something like that. You just sort of like find a way to deviate your plans and cancel what you're doing, and probably with a FUA step or something to remake his landing safe, because I do end up using the bits to disrupt him.
Yeah, but
I
counterpoint real quick, I guess, just to play devil's advocate here for a second. Oh god. So I feel like honestly this may have been fine if he had finished the down properly, which I feel he could have if he had just gone into bazooka.
Yeah, because
I'm-
he's really close there, but his travel time is just too long.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
so going
too
for the
far out.
melee is actually what screwed him here. And one thing I actually do want to bring up, especially against like funnel suits, because oh god, it's super important against funnel suits. If you get a hit on them and you've seen they've already deployed the shit, you need to finish that down as fast as you can. And usually that means with someone like Sananju, for instance, a really easy way to finish it down would just be main into sub-sub. And I think that if
Like
he had
Gundam
done
Punish?
that, then this would have actually gone quite a bit cleaner, and the momentum could have potentially shifted into his favor.
I'm gonna backtrack. You're definitely more correct than I am. So I completely agree with you.
I want to add something.
Mhm.
The thing is this: I still agree with Ace that he should have landed there.
I agree
Because
too.
the problem is this. Okay, so let's say he does the beam rifle, bazooka, and that gets him down. But I'm pretty sure that bazooka would have put in an overheat, and then he could have gotten punished by his partner.
That's true, but contextually, his partner's pretty tied up. I mean, my
you're not
partner's
wrong.
pretty tied up. So I do feel like, if we're going like, oh, what is the best thing? Hindsight is 2020. The best thing probably would have been beam rifle, bazooka. But there's well, like as we're finding out as we're talking amongst each other, there's like at least 3 different ways this could have gone.
I agree. Yeah.
And I think only one of them actually gets you punished. So you have like a 2 out of 3 random guess of getting it right.
Video games.
Yeah.
Video games!
What I want to ask is if
back it up to where he's about to land, or the disputed landing.
Yes, the disputed landing.
Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies
I'd
and
like to
gentlemen,
bring it
I
back
present to
the
you Exhibit A.
disputed landing. My client
Okay.
allegedly landed, but we are not
my
sure
client
yet.
allegedly didn't land here. But so at this point, if he would have landed, you're looking at probably what, 22 frames?
Yeah.
Maybe 24.
24. That's a
And
really small decision.
what's that?
That's that's a really small decision time. If that's
Well, no, I'm saying just for recharge. If you land here, that's a
Oh.
22 frame recharge.
oh
I
yeah yeah.
believe. So you would have had time to react to whatever Zabanya threw at you from that range, and have been able to press with a full boost bar. Even if you pulled the same game plan coming close, you would have had something left in the tank to do something, whether it's defend yourself or recharge quicker in order to avoid his boy in the case that he became untied up.
And that was one thing I did want to bring up with what I had said earlier, where, like, while I don't think the decision that he made was wrong up until the point where he didn't finish the down, I feel there was still a better decision to make. Because this is something I was telling everyone that I taught earlier, was the motto that I need to live by and that everyone needs to live by when they're learning this game: JFL. Just fucking land. Literally, if you are in a position to land in blue and you think you can get away with it, fucking do it. Because it doesn't... Most of the time, the options that you would have had earlier, you still have if you take that landing. And even
you're
more
costing your
options
movement
open up.
budget. You're costing your action budget for later actions. And the thing is it's, at least in my opinion, which doesn't count for much, but it's almost like the smart way to play is to mitigate risk. And that seems like he went real Texas Hold'em all in to go and score that KD. I don't know if I'd have done that, because if I would have landed there, I would have had some gas in the tank in order to avoid an oh shit moment. But that's just me.
Yeah, and I mean, hindsight is like a
Hindsight's
power that
totally
everyone has.
2020, definitely. I'm still gonna stand that I think he made the right decision overall. It is just, he did not finish the down, so he looked foolish. Because
Yeah,
that,
like,
and
kinda
you know
coming
what?
off
That
that
shit
melee,
happens. That shit happens.
It does. For humor me, swap to Zabanya's point of view.
Yeah, sure.
Please.
Let me see that block one more time.
And let's play it forward here, see what I'm landing on. So yeah, I'm still landing an okay boost.
Yes.
So I guess, it's hard to say, it's like, oh, he was going to be overcommitted on boost.
This is where you had the chance, but you pulled that melee. It's so slow. I'm so far out.
And this is a good example of why I choose to block over something else.
Also, for the sake of context, Zabanya in general doesn't have much of a choice. He doesn't have the luxury of step melee. His melee is the block button. Like, let's be real. You're playing Zabanya. Your melee is the block button.
This is the most exciting Zabanya gameplay you will ever see in your life.
Oh man, so full speed, and then you get the down, and then you move over to the Hyakshiki. And then I just sort of
fetal
BC
position.
because I'm not paying attention to anything except my BC button.
This is something else I'm watching going on right here too. To everyone else here who does not switch targets often, look at what he's doing. Like, do that. I can't stress that enough. I was getting my ass whooped until I started to train myself to do that on the regular. Switch targets like at least every 2.5 seconds. And that's on the slow side.
Also, do you think we can go over some of the Hyakushiki's movement, actually? I'm kind of curious about that.
We should probably look at his too.
I definitely want to look over it. Because I felt like the Sananju, like, the way he was moving around was actually, like, pretty fundamentally sound, all things considered.
It was mostly sound, I agree.
Which...
Hey, sorry, Nick. Could you pause the video for a moment?
What up?
Okay, So to follow up on what Everyday Legend said, if you feel like switching targets every 2.5 seconds is like a little bit too oppressive for you right now, and it can be, you can do like a larger interval for now, like every 6 seconds, then ramp it up to every 5 seconds, every 4 seconds. And while you're getting used to this, play arcade, play the mission mode. You can practice switching targets there too, although they're probably going to toss out a lot of targets at you. But still, just get yourself used to hitting that button. Just get that muscle.
Mind if I interject real quick here? Because
ahead, man.
there's something Andrew taught me that I think is just really handy to just keep around if people think that target swapping is kind of clunky. Do it during a boost hop. Literally, if you're doing a boost hop right at a lot of ranges, there's like a point during that boost hop you're probably not going to get hit. So that's a really safe place to just sort of like target swap. Check out what's going on for a second, swap back. That's what I do all the time.
So we have a
I'm also-
question.
hold on before we answer Monk. I'm also speaking from a position of fight stick privilege. So like my switch target button is on my thumb. So I can always go dip, 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 and just like switch back and forth religiously without really affecting anything else that's going on. If you have to move your action thumb if you're on pad, and you have to like actually move over and switch targets, it's probably going to be a little bit more of a headache for you.
Then just map that to R2.
And
Something.
actually, that's what I'm about to say. I am a default bit Arna pad, so I haven't remapped any of my buttons at all. I've been playing that way since vanilla, and it's been hell. But I refuse to change because I'm stuck. Point where I'm going
It's been
is
hell, but you know, when I got a bag of marshmallows and you know some chocolate, and you know it's already warm. So
Already warm, so you know it's no biggie.
It's already, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I think.
Monk's
what I'll-
asking about what about just switching when you see yellow lock?
Yeah, I'm trying to follow up on that. I think that's like a fair thing to do. I think what I personally end up doing is I use the target indicators. Like if someone is targeting me, we discussed that earlier. You have the big yellow target indicators about. Oh, I moved it wrong. About right here in the screen, or like here if you're on the left. Well, granted, a little further left than that. But yeah, what I'll do is I'll just try to use other elements to suggest to me I probably need to be looking at my other target. And I play a lot of more supportive suits, so I tend to try to be in a position where I'm commanding more view of the field anyway. So I think it really just comes down to finding where you are in Gundam, because it's hard for me to back up. It's like, yeah, switch targets at certain intervals. Because, I mean, we know in practice that's not going to happen. There's probably going to be that time where, you know, you just end up separated from your partner and you really just have to focus on this one guy who is really after your... What are kids after these days?
They're wondering why adults can't see the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, I guess.
Yeah, they're after you like the sweet taste of Cinnamon Toast
There you
Crunch.
go.
There you go, hot chips.
Hot
Your
chips. They want the hot
Like,
chip.
Your hot chip.
All right, so I'm looking at this Yakshiki's movement because I know I sort of just tunnel visioned this man when I was playing him for a hot minute.
I do have to back out, so unfortunately, but
Thank you so much for
I'll
joining
leave
us, though,
chat room.
Dynamite.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you
Dynamite,
guys.
thank you, man.
How will
I've
we
got
end
the
the
easy
stream
job.
without Dynamite? I literally
yeah.
don't know how.
You'll figure it out. There
Oh
are
my God.
billions of streams without me.
Bruh. That just feels bad.
I think. Oh, we're just
That
going to
reminds
be
me.
stuck streaming all night.
Hey, Monk, so you had a question earlier, like, what about just switching when you see a yellow lock? That's also a good time to target switch, but, like, you definitely want to switch more often than that.
Yeah, if only to not get shot in the back.
You should definitely consider target switch as a way to reacquire new information. You can kind of maybe think of it in lore as like Gundam, or other mecha where sometimes their cameras are shielded, and then it was Code Geass. The nightmare frames have to open up their visors so they can reacquire new visual data as well as, I guess, topographic data or
Ah.
something too.
Also, hold up.
So-
Since we're on the topic of target swapping, I'm gonna hop off of Hyakushiki for just a second. Because, I have a very particular twitch. So, let's see. Is there something where... Am I gonna get knocked down at any point? Okay, I got knocked down here, probably. Never mind, am I a fool? I'm a fool here. I must have tunnel visioned really hard. Because normally what I'll do is... I will actually mash target switch a lot of the time when I'm knocked down. Especially if it's like a really bad situation. I will consistently mash target swap.
I have done that too, actually. I don't know what that is. I think that's just a weird psychology thing.
Yeah, I do it, and it's like, one, it's just a thing that kind of calms me down. But two, also, like, it's a good way for me to get a bearing on what's going on the field.
Yeah.
Does it also
Yeah,
throw
really
up
good.
an indicator on their screens as well?
Yes.
Every single time you... So that's even a way to, like, start to, like, knock on their doors or their mind, at least.
Here's the
They-
thing, I don't think there's enough big-brained people in the world to worry about that in North America.
I don't think I'm big brain enough to know this.
I'm definitely not big-brained enough to notice that.
Well, I mean, like, if I'm sitting there, like, pinging something off in the background and making you look at it for a second, if it buys me a half second to where I can pull some bullshit,
Maybe.
hell yeah.
There's a subconscious effect. We'll have to do a case study.
Oh.
Or all, 20 Gundam players in North America, of which I think I make half the alts for. This is actually a very inside joke.
Oh,
It
man.
doesn't work on the Bale players.
Alright.
Hey, sorry y'all, but Foxside raised a good point. Consider the minimap to look at if you can't target
Yes.
switch.
That's a great advice.
Yeah, basically like in this game, compared to Gundam Versus would let you target switch when you're in a big melee animation. But this game doesn't. Like if this game puts you in a forced camera change when you're in a big melee animation, you can't look at the other person. You can target switch, but it's not gonna do anything.
Enjoy
So-
the show.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Man,
So during the times like that,
I really
yeah.
miss being able to
Does that-
target swap during cinematic melees, man.
Does that still do its thing during, like, not cinematic melees, but, like, even the stuff where you normally have a camera change? Does that still take effect when you input that in order to, like, stop the camera change from happening?
I actually
you
sure.
cannot cancel melee animation, melee camera
Okay.
changes.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's the question.
What you can actually, you could do it in full boost. I don't know if you can still do it in maxi boost ARN, where if you change camera before the camera swap happens.
And Swan,
sorry,
I wanted to cut off for a second because I feel like we're getting a little off topic at this point. That's what I wanted to actually bring up, and that's why I was kind of going through the replay just now. What I wanted to point out about this Yakushiki, and I noticed it even watching from a lot of the other perspectives, is early on, like, I will say a lot of their movement, they were landing in blue, but a lot of their movement didn't feel quite deliberate. And you can see as the match goes, they start committing more and more of their boost, and they're throwing a ton of Vernier attacks, and it is causing them to get duffed in real bad ways. So I guess the biggest thing that I could tell Ramen Kiter right now is focus on staying on angle. Like, make sure that when you're shooting someone, that you are properly facing them. And if you're in a position where you're trying to not get hit, then don't hit things like bazooka a lot of the time, unless you are trying to use it specifically for, like, self-defense or something. Like, don't use it as, like, a poke. If you're wanting to poke at someone while running away, definitely do not go towards Vernier moves, because 9 times out of 10, a lot of the time, they will get you duffed.
Yeah.
Something else I want to point out is we're about 35 seconds into the match, and we haven't used our assist as Yakushiki yet.
Oh.
So that's here we go. It took a little over 40 seconds to use it to call them out, and that's an opportunity where you can protect your off-angle shots, which do come out faster than other shots for Yakushiki.
Yes.
And you can use that just like you do with double X to off-angle main and BC to drop like double X does.
I see a lot of hard commits.
Oh, you see that right here, exactly. So he's boosting
Yeah.
up to Zabanya, and he does step main, which I think is, you know, fine-ish. Also just because it hit, but then he keeps going.
So
Yeah.
look at that boost. Look at that gauge.
And at that point, he's
Like-
basically bankrupted his boost, and he had a position where he had gotten a shot and probably couldn't have got a knockdown, but he did not take the opportunity to get the knockdown. And so because
That's what
he
I'm saying,
doesn't
like,
finish
you go
his
all in
plate,
on that.
he gets duffed. Super
It's
hard.
sort
Yeah.
of like, I think the player may have just gotten surprised that it landed, possibly.
And I totally
And
get
that.
that.
That happens to me too. And like, you know, it just comes. I think it just comes with muscle memory. It's like, you know, getting really used to being able to turn a shot into his follow-up on a dime like that.
Also, one other thing I want to bring up here. Okay, so let me see if I can remember exactly. Okay, so there's two things I wanted to bring up next. One was I've not actually seen you do Kyakushiki's Gerobi cancel. I've only ever seen you let it rock, because I know that, like, with this Garo, you can literally boost away from this Garo, and it will fire just autonomously. And that's how a lot of Hyakus will actually set up a lot of, like, really shitty pressure situations on people. Because you don't have to fully commit to this Garo. You can literally, like, pop it and drop it. And it's actually pretty handy in a lot of cases if you want to set up a Garo, but not, like, commit a shit ton of boost.
Also, something about camera changing. We do lose some visibility when you don't cancel the camera change. So, but that's, again, an easy thing to miss. I don't know how many instances we get of that in the course of the shot.
And then the other thing I want to bring up here is I'm noticing that you're using E-Burst on Hyakushiki, okay? You have let your burst gauge get to full. That is not really something I'd really advise on E-Burst. But the other thing that I would really want to talk about with bursting here is, if you have E-Burst on a 2.5, generally you want to use your first burst to make an offensive push. Generally. That's actually why 2.5Ks are better in this game than they were in full boost. Was because in full boost, you could not do an offensive burst as a 2.5K in a 3K 2.5K comp, because a lot of the time you had to save it for full burst to pop out. But in this game, you can go with a half burst on your first life in E-Burst, use that for a push, and then be able to use, like, all of the shit that you get from burst, where, you know, you get all your fucking ammo back, you get some boost back. It's pretty good. But generally, like, I would say normally you want to use a half burst to make some sort of push. But also at this point, you were at such low life that it would definitely have been a little risky.
It feels like a risk, but I guess you really have to say to yourself, maybe if I was using burst, that risk would have actually been less, because I would have had a little more stats in my suit performance.
Yeah, but I think the biggest thing of all is, even if you're using E-Burst, do not flip out. Do not flip out unless it would mean the match is going to end if you don't flip out. That's my stance on it, because I think flipping out is such a waste of just potential. It is such a waste of, like, because if you pop that burst at half, you have a longer burst than if you would have flipped out. And you're
If you
able to get a
flip
lot
out,
more done.
It eats about 40% of your game.
Which is huge.
With it.
That is so
It's
huge. And even if you do it at full, that's still, you're only maybe getting a little above a half burst's worth of burst. So that's a ton of just offensive presence and pressure that you're losing out on.
No, see, the real strategy is to sit R and S or F burst, and you tech out of that, and people just get surprised.
Okay, I don't want you to call me out on stream like this. I'm really mad, because every time it happens, I'm just like, God fucking damn it, they say for full burst. Why are they doing this? I'm angry, and then I get hit, and I get tilted, and I'm like, this is bullshit. It's a mix, and I hate it. But anyway, but I think the biggest thing to work on for the Hyakushiki at the moment, if we're just talking about less general, like, oh, we should be aware of all of this stuff, and just general performance for these two players. For the Hyakushiki, at least, I think the biggest thing you need to work on is work on playing a little less committal. You don't really have to go in all that much with Hyakushiki. In fact,
No, you don't.
one thing I'm gonna say here is, let me pull up the drawing pad. So, let's say, also, let's get to a scene with less shit going on. There we go. Okay, far less clutter now. So, you're Hyakushiki. I'm gonna make you this, this nice little blue X, because Zeta Gundam is blue. Alright.
I'm gonna try to draw a little pillow for him to lay his head on.
Alright, so that's you. And, essentially, as Hyakushiki, what I would say is, if that's you, and let's say that this is Sinanju, you kind of want to be chilling in the back around here, keeping an eye on Sinanju, essentially, and making sure that, like, you at least know what's up with him, and, like, kind of just knowing what's up. You can try to force a 1v1 with the partner, but a lot of the time, I feel you're actually better off just kind of sticking with your partner and kind of letting them act as bait. So let's say, for example, we have the Sinanju here, and they're gonna get into a fight with this here, I don't know, the Zabanya, I guess. The Zabanya's feeling really frisky, and he wants to pew pew at the Sinanju. So that's the pew pew.
No, he's going to melee.
Zabanya is currently meleeing Sinanju. So,
Yeah.
so what that means is, as Hyakushiki, if you
Locking
recognize
him to death.
that the Zabanya is trying to shoot Sinanju, that means he's spending boost trying to get to Sinanju and not looking at you. So that means you can casually go to the side and just pog this man. Just pop, pop. And, like, what's he gonna do to you? Shoot you? No, because he's not looking at you. And that's kind of one way you can approach this, to where you can just sort of, like, pop in for a second, take a few pod shots, pop out. Or, let's say Sinanju is winning this encounter, right? Let's say that, just for the sake of this, Sinanju has meleeed the Zabanya, or he shot him or whatever, and Zabanya's down. So, you notice at the same time, Age 1 is trying to get on Sinanju's nuts. And he's coming. So, when you're able to notice that, because you're far back, you can see everything when you're far back. You can see and recognize, on reaction, that Age 1 is currently going after Sinanju's turkey gravy or whatever. So, you go around into a position where that Age 1's not looking at you, and you just shoot him. And then once you shoot him, you can just go back. You can play super lame with a suit like Hyakushiki, because he has so much ammo. You can legit just go up to someone in their general direction when you think they're not looking at you and they're focusing on your partner, and just go like, blah, 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 and then just get the fuck out. All the while, making sure that you're landing in, like, blue or yellow, and only really committing when you feel like you really need to get that hit, I feel. Because I do that all the time with, like, GPO3.
When, like, something Beautiful Swan mentioned, you have the Garubi with Hyakushiki. It's a lot easier to camp it if you're maybe using one target to lead a shot into another.
Yes!
That requires you to not be in that committed state. You know, you can't do that when you're like 200 meters from your target. You gotta be more like 800 meters. Whatever the range of distance a square actually is in this game. Whoever knows. And you also have, like, you know, a lot of tools that are centric to, like, this range play. And so, for example, your main, your A, your CSA, your AC, BC is, here's this kit for range.
Oh, I didn't even realize you were drawing on screen. I'm so sorry. Hang on.
You're totally fine.
Let me get this
This
into
is
a much better position. There we go. Now people can see.
This is a good vantage. And then you
We've
have
turned the corner into performance art.
so you have these 3 tools for range, and then you also have on the other side you have BC, sub, and arguably CSB. Though I'm not sure how many people actually use CSB instead of like don't know how well you can see there on that with the MA. I don't know what I want to write for that as notation, but basically in your MA mode, you can also do the same as your CSB. And Hyakushiki likes to spam that. And these here are for, I would say, more for evading.
Mhm.
I would write more, but I can't. I'm out of writing screen.
You're out of writing screen.
Whatever we want to call it. I wrote
Canvas.
too big on the blackboard. Canvas.
Yes, canvas.
What are these art words you're saying to me?
It's like a beautiful mind, but for video games.
Anyway,
fuck.
yeah. But yeah. You can use these parts of his kits to evade shots rather than like actually making committal attacks. And they're better for that, really. They're better for keeping people off of you rather than trying to run up to them and deal damage with it.
Mhm.
Just because they're for close range doesn't mean you use them to make, these committing positions, like our Hyakushiki here was doing.
Yeah, so essentially the big thing I would say, focus less on using those tools that would really vernier you as just general pokes, and more along the lines of your main has infinite ammo, so you have no reason not to just be using that consistently as just a safe poke. And I think that if you do that and focus on staying on angle, at least, for your ranged game, then you would have a lot more success in terms of being able to just, like, play neutral. And then when you start realizing that, oh, someone's not looking at me, that's when you bust out the AC, and you get, like, your 230 or 40 damage that he gets off of his Garrow. It's insanely high.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a page for him right now, actually. It's 303 or 261.
Oh.
If you plant it, I believe it's 300-ish.
Okay, that's actually insane. That is actually yeah. So
Yeah, it's a big
No. Sorry. More damage is done if you manually control the Gorobi. That's so 300. If you plant it, it's 260.
that's still
But still,
a lot
if
of
you're on
damage.
it, you get way more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So legit.
But it's like you commit, and the thing is like you got to commit to, it's like basically staying there with it.
Yeah, it is a greater risk.
But it's not that big of a risk if you're playing lame.
It's not that big of a risk if you're pretty far back and you are confident that no one's looking at you.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff that you need to keep in mind when you are playing a backsuit. Do not be afraid to lame it out like Cross Tekken. Like,
Yeah, the thing is, like, where I see this dude making a lot of his problems is the fact that he is just getting up in people's faces with someone that likes to stay back.
and like here's actually, like, Exhibit B, I guess, since Exhibit A earlier was that alleged
Yes, Your Honor.
landing. So, right here, let's move back a bit. So, you've been knocked down, and then I was knocked down at the same time. You get up.
You're in the same place.
Yeah, we're literally in the same spot. And you throw out the Garrow. That's pretty committal, but it's fine because I was just trying to run away. And you have fully committed your boost bar at this point. You should have landed 5 years ago, essentially. But it didn't happen. And you decided that you were just going to go in and keep going. I recognized that. And I was just like, fuck it. I am just going to BC because BC's most likely going to avoid whatever it turns out that you shoot. And it did
Or
in
you
this
just
case.
stop.
And in order
Or you
to also throw the icing on the cake here is
I'm actually
Bam, turn and Vernier shot.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
It's
you literally just stood still
Yeah.
with nothing in the tank. That's basically putting the kick me sign on your face.
And so the one thing I would say, like the first mistake that you probably could have rectified in this situation is landing as soon as you planted the Garrow and it didn't work. The second best time to land would have been right after. And then the final thing here would be you potentially would have actually had a chance to get out of this situation. But you were off angle and you shot. So let me lay one thing out here real, like, quick, I guess. Let me... Yeah, actually, Ace, do it. You might actually be better at explaining this.
Oh no, I was gonna be contrarian and say he did have one more way out. He could have, from the off-angle main, 2B, and use Hyakushiki's jump.
You're right, actually. He also could have done Bazooka, technically.
He could have also Bazooka. I think Bazooka would have not come across me as like, oh, I'm really close to this H1 Spallow. I know Bazooka's not going to hit because his first instinct is going to push BC. He's not even going to have to think about it. He's just knows.
Even if you do the shotgun Bazooka?
Even if I don't know, I would not have thought shotgun Bazooka. I'm thinking if I'm near a melee character who has really a lot of momentum or some kind of priority, I'm gonna try to just cancel into the next melee I have and just wager everything on Clash.
Okay.
Whether I win or lose. That's me.
No, I think that's actually a good mindset to have. But essentially...
I'd be scared to even be in that situation.
Oh, yeah, like, this is
Like,
a situation
the fact
that...
you're already that much deficit, like, no.
Because I think you know what? I have the perfect illustration for how this entire thing went. So notice this was when you plopped the Garrow. If you're in chat, I'm assuming you are, but I'm going to make sure. So you plop out the Garrow. While you're boosting away from the Garrow and not landing, I have already landed. So you are currently having half a boost bar against my completely full baby blue boost bar. So I'm allowed to be kind of as stupid as I want here for free because I know I have more boost than you. I can literally make like any play in this situation that's just relatively good and it will win in that situation.
Textbook definition of impunity.
Pretty much. So that's one thing to keep in mind is definitely, we're coming back to what I was saying earlier, JFL, just fucking land. But you still definitely had some options there, even with the overcommitting. But I definitely want to say that overall, just after the Garrow, you were better off just sort of either boosting away or maybe boosting a little closer if you felt you could have gotten away with something aggressive in terms of your landing. But overall, I would have blown the Garrow, land.
Yeah.
Like, just boost away and land. And then in that case, you would still been able to have played neutral and been able to leverage the fact that you at least had more HP than I did at that very moment, so...
Also, I'd like to put in some general advice.
Mhm.
A lot of this stuff can be overwhelming, like to even just like keep in mind during like the heat of combat,
Yes.
heat of like 2 versus 2.
Yeah.
And again, I've said this before, I'll say it again, be patient with yourself. You're gonna have to just like train yourself into thinking about this stuff in the middle of the match. And you're just gonna have to force yourself to think about it. And during then you might lose, you might get blown up. But look, if you're thinking about it, if you're aware of it, even if after the match you're just thinking like, oh man, I learned about this, I should have been doing that, or I shouldn't have done that, that's still an improvement.
No, exactly.
Eventually, you'll think about it in the middle of the match, eventually you'll catch yourself, and eventually you'll fully learn it.
Exactly.
Again,
The thing
be
to
patient
me
with yourself
is,
is a lot of stuff.
I'm not the most experienced player by far, or at least I'm not even the most good player. But what I have figured out is that there's a high amount of, let's call, survivability intelligence by not... Where you're rushing in with the Hakushiki, you're putting your bet on doing the damage, not taking the damage.
Yeah.
What I was talking about earlier with risk mitigation, don't make that bet. Just don't make that bet. Just land when it's safe to land. Land in your yellows. Keep your meter high. Fire at them from a distance. play lame and super conservative. Try not to get hit.
Right here.
And
Just while you're
if
talking
you-
about that, like exactly what you're
Yeah.
talking about right here, you had a situation here where you saw you were close to Zabanya, and you decided to go in. And in this situation, you had no real reason that you needed to go in to really do anything to Zabanya, because just you're approaching a 3K suit that has more boost and more options than you do in this situation. And at that very moment, it's like, I just don't see a reason that you really had to go in. You could just kind of stay back, and if he did go to your partner, which he eventually did, then that means once you've seen that they're going in, you can recognize that, and then move in, and then make a play. Like, a lot of what you can do, you can react to. You can see, oh, hey, he's fighting my partner. I can go in, take a few pod shots. If I confirm those pod shots, I'll get a knockdown, I'll get out. That's a very easy game plan that will get you wins. Easy.
Another thing for me to just nitpick, if you go back, I'd say 4 seconds, I think.
Let's just...
Yeah, right here. I was right, about 4 seconds.
Yeah.
So right here, this dash. Let's see this dash forward and back a little.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just nitpicking on this, but something that may help you with movement in general is that, like, instead of just doing one dash and maneuvering that dash, you may do 2 dashes where you move at like sharp angles to each other. And that will probably end up being more boost efficient for you, in that you end up doing more dashes, but you end up actually getting to your location faster.
Because definitely the best way to move, I feel, is alternating between 1 boost dash and 2 boost dash. And then also throwing boost hops and stuff into the mix. But, like, generally, if you're wanting to get close to someone and you're almost there, just do 1 to 2 boost dashes and just stay low to the ground and keep your boost bar relatively full. And you'll usually be able to schmoove pretty nice just by doing 1 to 2 boost dashes. Because holding a boost dash, a lot of the time, there is reasons to do it, but, like, there's not a lot of, like, good that you get out of it, except for, like, very specific things. Like, you use it to avoid, like, specific types of shots that people have set up. Or, like, to mix up a landing.
Swivel, or not swivel, you get to use swerve to, like, alter your approach angles. Other than that, you want to use the pops, because that first initial pop is where you get the speed from. But then you back down off the speed a little bit.
But the thing is,
why...
I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, sorry.
Which is why when you do boost hops, you do it right after the initial pop, because that's where the momentum comes from.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to, like, bring up, though, the reason why I didn't bring up the swerve earlier, because I noticed it, was because I saw for the most part you were still moving with, like, 1 to 2 pops at a time. So,
Yeah.
like, generally you seem to have that down. And so, like, I wouldn't worry about that too much.
It's the distance over committal.
Yeah.
Really. Like, you're pressing too far in with 2 less left to use. Because if you were to land and yellows are higher, you would have the ability to either make evasive actions because you had the tank and the recovery time to do it. But
let's see here.
Also, just a general point, don't think we're harping on you. This is all, like, let's surgically dissect where you can do things better.
Yeah, because, like,
then
overall,
we
think...
want to see you do this better and kick ass.
Because, like, overall, I think there's, like I'm seeing him, like when he does this weird right here, it's like you probably just don't have that many hours where I say, you know, I might get ballsy and try to do Hyakushiki's 2B cancel from that main.
Yeah.
I may also have a little extra burst so I can rainbow step it and do a little extra boost so I can rainbow step it and do another one until I think Spallow has run out of boost or something. Or whatever it takes to, like, just stall getting hit from that. but yeah, I think just you have the potential for this because you're doing like you're doing the basic actions of some jumps and some dashes. I think if we just see some of the more basic actions as well as less commitment on pushes.
So if I had to make a checklist, if I had to just make a checklist to make this really, really simple, for Hyakushiki, for Ramen Kiter, land more, and make sure that when you're landing in neutral and stuff a lot of the time, that you're landing at decently safe distances in blue and yellow. Don't be so hasty to push in. Be willing to kind of watch what's happening and paying attention to your partner, and then make your pushes based on that information. And then the last thing I would say is just overall, less vernier shots. If you do less, those three things, I think you will have much, much cleaner games. And then as a fourth micro point, clean up your boost dash execution a little. And I think if you do those, you're going to have a much, much, much better time, I feel.
And then we can get to the next level of critiques.
Yes.
I am
There's
so
always-
sorry. I
there's
have
always
like
a
one thing I
Kaizen.
want to add.
Go ahead.
As a mindset thing, keep in mind you're a 2.5k, your front is a 3k. What this means is this: your 3k front, not only do they have more boost than you, they have effectively double their HP in the life that they can spend. So you can afford to do what the Red Muffler Man said and let your partner get 2v1 for a little bit just to get the information, just to observe what's going on, and then pinpoint strike when you see the enemy team drop the ball and extend a little bit too far, because that will happen.
Yes.
I think they are going to come along wonderfully, and that I'm tired of looking at Char suits, so let's go to the next replay.
Okay, which one is that?
That should be number 26. Or no, 7. Sorry.
Okay.
I forget that it's in reverse order.
Alright, and I'm still age 1 because I'm a war criminal. Oh, I've watched this replay, actually. This one's really interesting. This one's very interesting.
I chose this one because it has ground runners.
Okay.
And that's a really different ball game for boost management. And
First thing I'm gonna have to say, pick a better HUD.
Oh god.
Oh no!
I just noticed
Oh god.
this girl runs and slides to a stop in heels.
Yeah?
This.
Oh my god.
Well, these are the hot takes.
This is the hot takes. This is the hot takes. My first bit of advice is pick a better HUD. It's okay. It's fine.
handing out hot takes like hotcakes.
Oh man, hot takes like hot scramble.
No.
Oh no.
I thought we were on
did-
hot chip.
I don't like
What
using
happened?
your melee to travel across the field unless you're turn X.
Yeah, that's.
Or bail.
Whew, let's talk about commitment.
Alright, so you're using all your boost, and you got duffed. Feels bad. Alright.
Yeah, this is old. Like you get the block destruction army there, and I just have to step back and shoot at you. You're really coming straight on at people, so it's not really helpful from the local player.
It's like daring someone to shoot you in the face.
It is.
Alright,
And
and
when you have the Banya,
before
Let-
we,
let-
will shoot you
before
in
we
the
start
face.
going into the critiques of the Nobel, I would also like to go through the God's perspective.
I think so too.
Yes.
I was about to just exactly that.
Alright, so let's head over to God's perspective and see what's up. Because I remember this was one of the few replays that I actually got to watch through a few times, and oh.
Yeah.
Okay, yep. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. Okay, we are now with God. Alright.
go with God.
I don't think I need to say anything for that.
I saw
Yes.
it. Did you see it? Did the rest of you see it?
I will say
Correct.
one thing right now, just starting off, as someone starting off. You definitely just want to boost in small bursts rather than going with the entire boost bar in one go, because
yeah.
you'll cover
yeah.
cover less distance overall, I think. But then also just you'll have no boost bar left, and your life will be miserable.
Yeah.
You also kind of want to make use of what you were doing right there, where you have like the low altitude air dash. Much better than, especially trying to run with God.
Not quite. There's things to cover. There's things to cover with that with God, in particular.
Ground runners are a lot.
Ground runners are a lot. It is definitely not as
Yeah,
simple as go into the air movement a lot of the time.
Yeah.
It was that way in G versus, but not in this game.
I was gonna say, I find that it's more, I don't know, like I get more mobility out of it, and I'm not like relegated to Slidesville when I want to like stop.
Trust me, there's more to it, and I'm probably going to have to pull up the remote play with both of these suits to bring that up.
Uh-oh.
Because it is very important.
It is.
In fact, he did it right there, but I don't think he
He
realized he may have done it. I don't know. If he did, then we're good.
I mean, kudos. If you did, keep at it. Like,
Exactly.
It just comes with practice. This is something you just have to, like, go into free play mode and get really used to moving around with God.
All right, so now here's my question. Should I go into remote play and kind of explain what I'm talking about, or do we want to kind of start dissecting these?
I think go ahead and start with remote play, especially if you're confident in demonstrating it with the ground runners.
Yes, because I know how to do
because
it
I
with
think,
both of
like,
these.
This
Because,
is
like-
very foundational for God players.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, this is incredibly important stuff, and again, this is stuff the game never actually explains to you.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Oh, God. Okay, so we're back. Hello, and welcome to video games. So I'm going to transition out. Oh, God, I'm playing on my OBS screen. I need to not do that. There's already enough lag on PlayStation 4 remote play. It's pretty garb. But it's good enough for what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to start with God. Because God's is actually very easy.
This is America. We call it Burning Gundam.
I'm going to call him Gord Gundam now. Gording Gundam. And you know what? I'm going to wake up, I'm going to build a God Gundam Master Grade, and I'm going to put jorts on it.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so, you know, when you're ground running, essentially you're still moving pretty fast. And then we have what Everyday Legend was talking about, where if you step and then boost, you get a pretty fucking good swerve. And, like, you move pretty fast. But I wouldn't say that the speed is that much more worth it. Especially because when you're doing this, you're playing by the rule of every other suit. You have to land. And when you're playing a ground runner, there's something that doctors don't want you to know. It is that you don't have to fucking land if you don't want to. Because you're already firmly planted on the ground. And so essentially, a lot of ground runners have this mechanic called a break cancel. And what you're essentially doing, with God at least, is you're taking your run, and say you're boosting a few times. What you do is you step cancel out of the run and go into your main. And what that does is your boost you basically land during the main and during the animation of the main, if I am getting the science behind it right. And essentially, it gives you like a universal-ish landing time no matter what your boost is. So you are able to just cheat your boost and get boost back in ways that other suits can't.
Yeah, you mechanically have the core idea there.
And so essentially, you can literally run up to someone, step into main, and you have your boost back. And you can keep going. So essentially, the thing I was talking about earlier with Exia, where you would fast fall into someone and with your assist and get all your boost back and get your boost advantage, you can do that with God by just existing. And if people are not ready to call out when you're going to do this, because you can do this after 1 boost or 2 boosts or 3 boosts or 4 boosts, and they have to call out exactly when you're going to do it. If they don't...
That main.
What about the main? It's also big.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, and that main is deceptively long.
Yes, like this main
if
hits you from like pretty fucking far. And if that main hits, you get, you know, a full confirm. I didn't do it right there, but essentially, if you get that main hit, you get a full confirm. I hate this
Doesn't
stage.
it convert directly to melee or not convert? I'm sorry, cancel directly to
It
melee?
does not cancel directly into melee, so you have to boost dash.
Oh, my bad.
But that doesn't matter because you're going to be landing this
You're gonna
off
have-
at main.
You're
Right.
gonna have boost off that shot anyway.
Exactly. And then
Right.
after that, you can land after a simple melee combo and still be in yellow and generally be fine. And
Yep.
so that's what you want to this is how you want to move with God Gundam. Is you're wanting
Okay.
2 to 3 to 4 boosts at a time and being really oppressive and then step into main. And there are multiple ways that you can move with the suit because you also have like your command dash, you have Godfinger if you so wish to use that. The command dash is really handy because it makes it to where that you can actually fire essentially a beam rifle.
So
Yeah, you tap the A, right?
Yeah, you tap A
Yeah.
during the command dash, and you get a follow-up where you can essentially beam rifle, and if you're really fast with your hands, which I'm not on pad, you can essentially Zundo with the suit.
yeah. To answer Beautiful Swan, if you are outside of main's range, you could still just use main for the break cancel if you judge that you need the break cancel landing.
Yeah, legit, there are times I'll be in green lock, and I'll just, like, use up a ton of boosts to... Oh, God, I hate fucking pad. I'll use a ton of boosts to get in, and then just do it. But you can do it from green lock. You actually don't have to hit the main to get the break cancel.
It does, even if you do hit main, it doesn't hurt you because the reload on main is so fast.
It is so fast. Literally, just get used to doing like boost boost step main, boost boost step main a lot of the time as just a neutral sequence to get in because you get back main so fast. You have no reason to just not be using it.
I don't have a lot of master experience.
Master also has this tech actually. It is actually the same buttons, if I recall. I believe it is also just boost towards people, step into main. And it is the same with Master.
It makes sense because he has a similar main.
Yes, he has a similar
Does
main.
Spiegel
It
have
plants you to the
anything like
ground.
I mean, I know Spiegel has like the 8B where you can like do like the flip kick, but do they have anything where you can toss out in order to like get the same effect?
Spiegel,
with, like,
I
Kunai
do
or
not
Kunai?
know. The ones that I know are God,
Okay, cool.
Shining, Master, and Nobel. And I think Dragon Gundams is AC? Rising doesn't have one because she's the only one that isn't a ground runner. And I'm pretty sure Shadow has one, but I don't recall what it is.
I
Shadows
know
is
Spiegel's got a like 8B and step dash.
Yeah, Shadows is off of Spiegels is off of 8P.
Okay.
I can't 8P into what though.
But I'm gonna also pull up
Yeah.
Nobel's because Nobel's is a little different than God's.
Yeah.
Violent Senpai just said Easy 8 gets to do it with weapon switch and it owns, and he's
It does.
right.
Yes, Easy 8 gets to
If
do it
you
with
know how
weapon
to use
switch.
Easy 8, you are an oppressive son of a bitch.
And then Tank gets to do it off of BC. And then Lugao gets to do it off of Step BC, I think. This is the kind of one that Nobel has. So with Nobel, what you want to do is you're wanting to boost, hit your BC, and then step. So you do BC, step, and that gets you all your boost back, because fuck you. I did it wrong there, but you get the idea. Is you essentially want to boost around, hit BC, and then step, and then that gets you all your boost back.
She's so
That's
sassy.
anti-melee as well, isn't it?
Kind of anti-melee. So here, I want to give a quick little rundown with Nobel, I guess. Because the thing with this suit is, and I guess hot take here, until you hit your first burst, she's kind of half of a suit. In that you have your ring that you can toss, you have your melee, but even your melee is kind of subpar. Like, it's hard to cut, but that's about all she really has. It lasts, and you, like, at the very least, you can cut it early. So you can do pretty short combos that do a decent amount of damage. But overall, her general toolset kind of sucks for a lot of things. Her assist is pretty good. And
Yeah,
if
I
it
agree.
hits, then you get a pretty beefy confirm off of it. But a lot of the time, with Nobel, you're literally wanting to hang back and wait until you can get some sort of opportunity made by your partner to capitalize a lot of the time. And she's just kind of half of a suit until you get burst. And then once you get burst, you super and go into berserk system. And then that's when everything she gets is just way fucking better. And like, you're able to do all sorts of crazy shit. And the thing that's nice about this, though, is once you hit berserker mode, you keep it for the rest of the match. So you go from being half a suit to being like a suit and a third to about a suit and a third. And it's pretty alright. Like, you have pressure. And as a 2K, that's kind of nuts to have pressure.
Is it like full boost where your second super is a heal?
I think so. I actually don't know about her second super because I've never used it.
No, I mean, like, if you burst again, like, if you burst and you get your berserker mode, if you build up another burst, trigger it, and then do your burst super, I think it heals you. Like Ellen in Street Fighter 3.
See, like I said, I actually don't know because I've never used it. Like, I know about this suit from, like, I've played it a bit, but I've mostly only used it from, like, a textbook perspective. So, I know the way the suit works, but I haven't used it a ton. Also, if I recall, the CSA is pretty alright.
Yeah, I was about to say the CSA is like this good disruption.
Like, CSA is pretty good, but the big selling point with Berserk is that it just overall makes the suit better, and you get pressure. So if someone tries to melee you, or you go in to try to melee them, it gives you a trump card. And you're able to just win a lot of situations other suits can't win. Which is huge.
Also, you're angry.
Also, but the other thing about this that you have to kind of keep in mind is your BC changes. And as for break cancel in this mode, I actually don't know. So, you know what? I'm going to do a test real quick here. Whoop. It looks like you might be able to break cancel off of the main. Yeah, you can totally break cancel in Berserk mode, it looks like, off of her main. If I could actually stay on the ground, because boosting on pad is hard. Yep, you totally get a break cancel, it looks like, off of step into main in Berserk mode. So, Nobel players, if you're in the chat, take notes. That's how that shit works. But ground runners are really interesting, and they play very differently from normal suits. But differently in the way that you can kind of play a bit of a different game than everyone else is. Mm-hmm. And you're able to put yourself in situations that a normal suit wouldn't be able to do. Because like I said, you can literally use a ton of boosts to get in, and then do your break cancel, and then all of a sudden, you steal boost advantage that no other suit could really do, essentially. So you want to learn the break cancel on your suit, and you want to be able to use that to put on pressure and force situations on people. Essentially. Thank you and welcome for coming to, and thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Oh, there we go.
Thank you very much for the demonstration. It's really informative.
All right, so now back to the main scene. Okay. So let me set myself back up here because I've confuzzled myself super hard. Also, I forgot to project that to you guys, and I'm so sorry.
It's fine. I was like, I'll just turn the stream on because I mean the other part stopped. So
yeah,
I got them in 2 screens. So
yeah, and like also like you can still also boost hop and stuff. So like boost hopping is still pretty like good to use for like evading shots and shit. So when is it better to do step boost dash with the G suits, if ever? Okay, I feel like if you need to move a little more evasively, or obviously if you're already in the air. Because, like, I think if you're moving, say, backwards, then step into boost dash, I think, is actually a little faster. So I think that's when you would want to use step into boost dash. But most of
so like in a 2v1 situation when you're super surrounded.
Yeah, essentially. If you can just like take to the air and be like, I don't want to be here. I'm gonna step boost dash because I know it gives you like a better swerve, like just slightly. And so having a better swerve can mean a lot. But if you're wanting to move in offensively, or if you're wanting to steal your boost back in a situation that would be not quite advantageous to you and turn it advantageous, then you would want to do your normal ground run, step into break cancel. Oh, and according to my friend Joey, Berserker Super just gives you the second Berserker Super does just give you health back. Yes.
So
So
it's been lovely.
Yeah.
But it's 10:20 and I gotta go.
All right, you take it easy, my dude. I'm so sorry we kept you up for so long.
Oh, it's all good. No,
Look.
even I learned something out of this one.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. That kid.
Yeah, this is actually a really informative session, but unfortunately, I do have to follow Everyday Legend. I also have to bail.
All
But
right.
It's all good. It's all
thank
good.
you, y'all. This is
play Bale?
This is really good.
Oh my god. All right, we will hold down the fort and we will take care of the kids.
All
All
right.
right, take it
sounds
easy,
good, guys.
y'all. Everyone, thank you very much for attending.
Oh.
We really appreciate it.
All right, you have a good
No
one, guys.
Thank you for being here while you could.
All right.
Take it easy, y'all. Thanks again.
But let's finish this up, and then do we go over the last match after this, you think?
I think it's fine to just go over the last match. The last match is really good too. It's probably one of the best gameplays we've had that night.
But so is there anything else you think we'd want to cover in this match, or because I think the big thing is just that they were not playing ground runners.
Honestly, I think let's just give it another clean run through. And just get, another look at, see, this is a point where, you could have break canceled your landing
All
to
right.
recover boost. You wouldn't have to eat all your boost bar to move across the field. I mean, that's not a bad punish. The Lage conveniently landed near
Yeah,
you.
exactly. And so you're boosting around, and let me go back to that real quick here. So you're just sort of boosting around. You're getting height. And you did get the punish, but you got overheated. So, but that was also like a 2v1 situation. So, okay.
It was.
I'm not gonna give you too much shit there. I would say you probably would have wanted to have landed a while ago.
There is legitimately a Zabanya with a snipe ready in another 3-ish seconds.
Yeah.
So.
All right, going for the melee, gets shot in the back.
Your opponent's partner is protecting him, so it's really not a safe position to do that.
Oh, okay. I want to go back to this. So, we're chilling. You step. Okay, that was very. I want to get exactly what happened here. So you woke up. Oh, that was it. Okay, that he had teched from an incomplete. Oh, wait, no, he had just normally teched. Okay, he normally teched.
He teched.
Wake up, step. Okay, I wanted to make sure I saw that right.
Yeah.
This is really important now that I get this out of the way now. Wake up, step is actually really dangerous in this game. Because whenever you step or do like some sort of shot, usually I think is usually the rule. Like anything that isn't just like a melee a lot of the time.
Yeah.
You lose your wake up invincibility, which you have a lot of. So a lot of the time on wake up, actually just boosting is the safer option than stepping. Yeah, like primarily with God and Master, you primarily move with step boost. Oh, okay. Okay. Is always better typically? Okay, because I was told the opposite by someone at some point. Where you wanted to, like, utilize your break cancels and stuff a lot more. And I know I'd seen a lot of that in Japanese footage.
Well, the break cancel is really just a tool for you to manipulate your boost gauge.
Okay, okay.
So, I mean, you think of it less as a default way of movement, and more of this is a way of it's like another version of fast fall.
Okay, okay. Because, like, I've had other God players tell me, oh, yeah, I always just use a lot of ground running in this game because ground running is actually better than it was in previous games.
It is, because we do have broader access to those break cancels, and,
So I just wanted to make sure that I was saying the right stuff then. But even then, like, you still definitely want to be using your break cancels more than you were here, essentially.
Like when in the first part of the match when he did run across the field to do that, I mean, he probably could have been safer if he stopped a little sooner and break canceled to do that, and just had a more aggressive refuel for his boost.
Naruhodo. And then with the Nobel, let's go through that again real fast. Boop, boop.
If you're feeling weird about like you don't want to step after waking up, don't worry. It used to be safe. It just isn't anymore.
Yeah.
Because I still do it.
No,
I still do it too.
I do it too. I do it too. Trust me, I do it too. It feels weird. I'm still trying to. There are times where I'm like, oh hey, I'm wanting to break the habit, but then also there are times where I'll still just try to use it anyway if I feel like it will work, even though it is still a bad thing to do. I feel.
It's like the dumbest bluff to me.
It isn't even a bluff. You're literally just throwing yourself at the fucking semi-truck, being like, "What are you gonna do? Hit me? Do it, coward!"
Hey, one times out of 10, they don't hit.
I mean, you're right. Like, you just puff out your chest, and then you fender bender the fucking truck, and it just stops in its tracks. And then that's when you find out that you're Superman. That's the one time out of 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one thing I want to actually point out with the Nobel, though, is I know that when I was watching Japanese Nobel, a lot of what the suit did was they would kind of just stick at the edge of Redlock, using break cancel to steal their boost back, and then they would just chuck a lot of rings and assist, and apparently just play real slow until they make their way in.
Yeah, and again, the one thing I really don't like about the Nobel play I see is that they just make a lot of commitments when there's nothing to commit to.
Exactly.
You were getting left at the altar here with the Sabanya.
Just like in the show, huh?
Just like in the show. I'm sorry. Anyway, but yeah, if you see that the Nobel is getting like a few more hits in, but they're still running straight in. There's really like not a lot of good advice that can be offered.
A lot of it is literally just kind of go back to the drawing board, learn to play a little more slowly. And because like what was going on there is there wasn't even like a front back dynamic in that situation.
Yeah.
And like one of you basically would have needed to be like, okay, one of you goes ahead, I have your back. And that's
what can because what can happen is like you can let God do a lot of the positioning, and Nobel can sort of try to float around God at the edge of her Redlock range, and try to like take confirmations off of God or something.
Also, Techmaster J, thank you for correcting me.
Thank you. It's helpful having more than.
No, it is helpful having someone to tell me when I am absolutely full of shit, because I will tell you right now, I'm full of shit a lot. So it is always nice to have someone to just correct me when I need corrected. Yeah, if you're good with break canceling in a vacuum, you are essentially cheating. It is pretty great. All right, and so which is the last one we're going to?
Number 2. This is a good one.
All right. Was this one I managed to actually look over? Oh, I think so. Yes! God damn it! It's this one.
I'm sorry.
God damn it. Okay. So, which perspective are we gonna look at here?
I don't know. They're all pretty good, actually. The legend is kind of newbie.
I'm gonna fucking deck you from across the country.
Dude, these were the first 3 games I played with Legend ever.
I mean, you know what? That's fair.
So you probably actually see me just like getting a feel for my kid if you watch me. So like that. I was amazed by how fast the funnels travel on Legend. It feels like they're faster.
Who's playing Bale? I think it was actually a rando that popped in during the session after we had opened the lobby's private slots up.
It was, but I mean the Bale plays pretty well.
No, he does.
So he
really does.
Yeah, I don't have any comments for his improvement. He does pretty well.
Now that Lupus Rex, you have some choice words.
I'll wait till the end, really. Maybe here, I think that's a fine engagement. It's like, you can't, it's like one of those things where you just take the chance. Sometimes it doesn't 100% work out. And you still ultimately get this melee combo off. I do also interrupt it, but you got a lot of damage.
Yeah. But I definitely think the one to look after would be the Mark II's perspective, I think, after that.
I think that might be good. I think the Mark II will get to see some good stuff. Here I am, I'm just trying to cut. I barely did it with the Wall of Light.
And we actually almost brought this back, I feel. Like, we were really fucking close to bringing this back, but it's just hard for Mark II to survive.
You did. And there's like no way for me to cut Lupus Rex there, but here we're watching a reposition, and I see a chance because you're in the corner.
Yes.
I go for it. How it works.
I'm schmoovin', I'm schmoovin', I'm schmoovin', I'm schmoovin'!
Where I don't like it, you see, you continue chasing Bale before he even bursts, where you could have been chasing me, and I have a measly 128.
So, I can tell you what happened there. Two things happened in particular. One, I had attempted to do a CSA fast fall, if I recall, and I think I had dropped it, and I ended up getting real fucked up.
And it's just like, I'm here now.
Like, I thought I was charging CSA when I wasn't, essentially, and I'm like, oh no, this is bad. And then the other thing was I saw Bale violently barreling towards my 1.5k homie, and I'm like, oh god, oh fuck, oh god, oh fuck, oh god, oh fuck.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's one of those high stakes moments where, you know, it's difficult to think.
Oh man, I never think. Thinking is never my prerogative. Just because I say I'm a genius up here doesn't mean anything, Jim.
Thinking's just never worked for you in Gundam, has
it? It hasn't, actually. I always do best when I throw away my brain cells.
That explains the Mikazuki pick here.
Oh, exactly. Alright, is this the Mark II? Okay, yeah.
You look Mark II. What's going on here? Okay, what is with this theme?
Is this the same as the Hyakshiki player?
Same HUD. This is a different player. What are these people doing?
I don't...
Oh,
no, this is Dragon Cirrus, and we were looking over one of his replays earlier.
Oh, was that also Dragon Cirrus?
Yes.
Oh, it was?
Yes.
Sorry, Jack. I thought there were two of you. Yeah, I don't really like how you're trying to approach Legend here. He's able... he's a very defensive suit, and you don't really have the boost to punish him straight up. You have to wait for him to overcommit like you did earlier.
Mm-hmm. Now this was actually a pretty good burst.
That was a pretty good burst. It was like,
because the thing with 1.5Ks, okay, so I feel like I need to say this right now. 1.53K, and a lot of this is on me as well. 1.5K 3K is really not good, mostly because 3Ks take away from the ability from the 1.5K to do what 1.5Ks do best. Suicide bomb.
I think I actually wrote in our guide that I think this is probably one of the worst compositions that could be done. No, I think that was 2000 2500.
2000 2.5 is definitely...
It's a tough one.
I would say 3K 1.5 is still probably like the worst comp, in my opinion.
I did not give the warmest regards to 3K 1.5.
Like, in terms of like non-meme comps, let me put it that way.
It's a very challenging one to do.
Yeah, like it's definitely... You have to have the most patient 3K. I think it can work with something maybe like... Lupus Rex might actually be able to make it work if the Lupus Rex has more than my one brain cell. But also...
I do think Lupus Rex would be a good 3K 1.5K partner given his kit.
Given his kit, he definitely has the ability to make it work. Kashi and Penelope would also, as well as Zabanya. But
yeah.
the fact of the matter is, the 3K has to play so far back and so patient that you're losing out on a lot of the tools that make 3Ks 3Ks. just so that you could have the 1.5k suicide bomb 3 to 4 times.
Yeah.
Because the whole point with 1.5ks is you play them because you get extra lives and you get more bursts. But when you're playing 3k 1.5, you're in a situation where you can no longer use the extra bursts and you don't have extra lives because you have the same amount of lives as any other comp that works with a 3k.
Basically, you're turning like the general strength of a 3k on its head. Instead of using its superior boost and damage output to deal damage and make pushes on the field, you're using it to zone and protect the bulk of your cost. Where the 1.5k gets to follow up on that or just go ham on whatever poor soul it has decided to focus upon 6 times over.
And that's why suits like Ifrit Custom are really great in like I feel like you could use something like Comfort or Ifrit Custom or Plane in 3k 1.5.
Plane being Rigazi.
Yeah, Plane being Rigazi. Because essentially you're able to just like command so much attention and they would actually get a lot from having the 3k back. But it is definitely a difficult comp to make be consistent.
Yeah.
And
So
right here, challenging the Bale with Camille Mark II is very difficult. Camille Mark II is also just a very hard suit to use, in general. Because he just feels like a watered-down Hyakshiki.
It kinda is. Honestly, I've played Camille Mark II limited, very sparingly, and I mainly just want to like step on people and hope he says Zaku Kiro.
Zaku Kiro!
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, like, really, just watching this perspective, a lot of it is just the same that I would have given your Hyakshiki perspective, is just, clean up a little bit of the movement, don't be as committal. But, like, I still honestly think that game didn't actually go all that bad, all things considered.
No, like, it's an example of, like, how really good boost management will overcome just poor formation and poor boost management.
Are there any other perspectives in this that you think you would want to go over? Or would we want to go over the Camille again and kind of break it apart a little more?
Yours was pretty interesting, I think.
Okay, we can go over mine. That's cool. I actually really like the way I played this game for the most part, but
yeah, I think you played it fairly solidly, given that you're working with a 1500 partner who you know is a little fresher in the game.
And so I take a landing against Bale. We're going up to heaven. I'm getting eaten alive at this point in terms of health, but I'm not gonna let it stop me.
No.
At that point, I knew I had gotten to take an aggressive landing, so I was able to step sub. I'm going to go back to that. At this point, I had landed. I'd seen that Bale was, one, kind of looking at my partner, but also, you know, he was still up in the fucking air. So I was able to just step sub with no real risk. Even if he had armor dash left, sub would have eaten right through it.
It was a good move.
And then I'd hit the boomerang, but I overestimated how long the hit stun was. Because they have a very long amount of hit stun, so I thought I had enough time to get the confirm. So while I'm actually making some decent decisions here, I've taken a lot of damage against the Bale. And then I feel like I'll overall make this burst work.
I think this engagement is a good engagement.
And I was trying to make this combo evasive, but not evasive enough.
It was, well, if you go back and look at it from my perspective, I did swing around to get on your Z-axis so that I knew I would be hitting you.
Let's see.
And the fact you were moving up against a wall.
Alright, so you took out my partner. Oh, damn. Hold up, let me see that again. Oh my god, you asshole.
Yeah, it was...
That's some big brain shit, I'm mad. How dare you just pop at me menacingly like that?
I've been playing this Z-axis game since vanilla, so it's my thing.
I mean, that actually might be one thing to really bring up, is a lot of the time, I feel like if you're in the air, it's definitely a lot easier sometimes to hit a lot of shots.
Yeah, it is, because what you're doing is you're like sometimes when you sometimes some crimes anyway sorry. I was thinking of Chippendale for some reason. um, anyway when you do like that boost dash, you get a little floaty. Like sometimes you're just floating there, you're going up, and it's really like until you go downwards a little bit, you're moving in the same direction.
Yes.
And it's until you do that descent where you then have the chance to do like a Fua step or something to change that movement. It's that period, that arc where you get to be a little vulnerable. So, and it's happened to me too. Like I just get shot in the back on my way up on a boost dash jump, and that might happen to you as a beginner. You're thinking like, well, these boost dash jumps are garbage. Why is anyone telling me to use these? Well, that's really just because your opponent was able to just like get straight behind you. They're following straight behind you, and amazingly, a bullet travels faster than they do.
All right, so you know what? I think we have a good time for drawing time, actually.
Do it.
So, okay, let's say, you know, you're here.
Yeah.
Hold up. Do I have an? Oh wait, no, I have my color set to green. Oh, I'm a genius. I'm a fucking genius.
You're drawing on the green screen in green.
Alright, hang on. I have to fix the green screen. I broke it, guys. Okay, there we go. Red, we're in the money. Okay, so let's say you are here. And I'm gonna make a little square so people have my frame of reference. Hopefully that shows up okay on stream. Do I need to change color? No, okay, that looks fine. Okay, so let's say you're here, and you've decided that you are going to boost hop in this direction. You're going towards the wall, but whatever. You're feeling like it. You're feeling really frisky. Someone's over there that owes you a good amount of money.
That wall is looking pretty tasty.
That wall's looking hella tasty right now. You wouldn't actually normally do that, but whatever. So, if you're being shot by someone, say from here, their bullets would travel here. But since you're moving this way, the bullet would whiff on you. Because you're moving out of the way of the bullet, essentially.
Yeah.
And kind of the same diagonally, where you would still be able to move out of the way of the bullet decently well, because things like mains don't track very well. Something from this angle, like a missile or something, might hit you if you didn't step it. But essentially, if someone just shot a beam rifle, as long as you're just sort of moving in that direction, you're generally fine. When things get fucky, is if someone shoots you from directly behind you, from the same direction that you are moving. And that's called vectoring. And you're essentially lining up your shot. Because in this game, you can't aim. But you can line up your shots to where if you are in the same plane that someone else is moving, then your shot will hit them. Or it will be more likely to hit them, I should say. Because the way that mains work in this game is that horizontally, like, you know, from side to side, you know what, I'll draw another diagram over here now. So from side to side, mains are no. They don't track very well. They'll just sort of like whiff if you move onto the side. But vertically, if you shoot someone as they're going up and you have the shot lined up pretty well, mains track surprisingly well vertically.
They do.
So you can many times, if you have the shot lined up well and you're decently close enough, you can definitely tag people if you're moving in the same direction as them. But the inverse is true in that if you are moving towards someone, you yourself are easier to shoot. So it is definitely like two sides of a coin. Do you want to move towards someone and make your shots easier to hit, but then also make yourself easier to hit with like some sort of like Hail Mary bazooka or like a big beam rifle or a Garobi? Like it'll feel bad. It'll feel real bad. But that's one thing to keep in mind in a game where you have a partner, and if someone is looking at your partner, you can line up your shots make your shots easier to hit so that you aren't spamming 5 to 6 beam rifle shots and running out of boost.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of, like, small bit of, like, movement optimization for, like, lining up your shots and shit that can make things a lot easier in general. But yeah, I feel like, you know, I said that this was going to be a lot about evasiveness and movement, but I feel like we haven't actually been able to cover a lot of that simply just because a lot of people's movements, for the most part, have definitely cleaned up a little more.
I think a lot of people, like, they understand how to use, like, how to mechanically do the techniques. It's just they're faced with the uphill battle of dynamically applying them in the situation, which is really tough to do, and I guess is really the main point for this replay review stuff that we're going through, because it's really just the best chance for us to say, well, here's what's happening in the real situation where you're getting shot at and it seems like there's really nothing to do, but really it's a consequence of a bad decision you made about 5 seconds ago or something, or even less than that, really.
Yes.
So like it's not the game is very cause and effect. If you make a bad mistake, you will probably have the confirmation that you did it on a slight delay of a few seconds. And when it comes to like broader strategy, sort of like where you are, if you can draw on the mini map for me, because I can't reach there with the canvas.
I can do it.
All right, I don't know how to extend it. But like,
you should be
see
able to zoom out with Control minus.
Control minus.
At least I think so.
It works.
Yeah.
Success. All right.
Oh my god, you've done it, you madman.
This is actually great because I can like scale it to roughly the size of the screen I expect.
Okay, I was really confused
Yeah.
as to why you couldn't reach the canvas, but now I know.
But yeah, let me see if I can change my color a little. Control Z. Yeah, you can probably see that look there. There's
Oh, yeah, I
on
can
this
see that.
mini map, the distance between Red Lucas Rex here and his partners over here in this box, it's really broad, and like I would say that this is a positioning that's really compromised to whoever happens to be on the losing end of the 1v1s here. So I don't know what's going on over there from Red Muffler's perspective. I just know that my partner's alone and Red Blob is near him, and we're basically in our own space. And before the match, you know, you start out when the match is starting. You know, you start out with let's say this is the radar here, and you're you know, you're over here, these friendly X's, and then the enemy is over here, these evil pluses.
Evil pluses.
They're you know, you're over there, and you know there's a lot of space between you. I mean, in theory, there's a lot of space between you.
Yes.
My radar is pretty small.
Yes.
And like you can move around together and pre-position yourselves so that, let's make this really big, so that you guys, maybe one of you moves over here and the other is maybe following over here, and he's acting like some bait to your enemies who are maybe starting about over here, because on side 7 you start in like this corner and this corner, or these corners. Let me redo that. Match the pieces. You start over in these like matching corners. So like you know, you guys may be over here, and you migrate over here, and they sort of migrate over here or something. Anyway, the idea is like you're trying to like use these large movements to sort of trick the formation so that you can get an easier vector lock. And Legend asked earlier, is like, well, how do I convince someone to do that? And really, it's this sort of game where you just sort of like try to like use the weight of your costs. So like maybe you're a lower cost suit, and you're easy pickings for 3,000, Well, the 3000, if they're smart, they should probably try to make their first push on you as soon as you step out of line. So if you take a deliberate step out of line that maybe isn't really that much of a step out of line, you just baited the 3K into committing some resources that your other partner could probably punish for you. And it's like these broader strategic movements like that, that, they have a delayed effect of like, you get punished for a bad strategic movement maybe 15 or 20 seconds later or 10 seconds later. Whereas simple movements like maybe you didn't land soon enough, you'll get punished for that in a matter of 2 or 3 seconds. And that's why I think, even though a lot of our people last week knew how to do these basic techniques, they caught on to them really easily. There was like this implementation effect. There's this contextual implementation effect that, you just have to like take the time with and review your own replays with and see how, okay, maybe I could have used my resources of boost or ammo here better.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a lot to take in. I feel like that's something that ZGMF said a little earlier that I also need to kind of like really hit home, that a lot of this shit is not second nature, it's not obvious, it's not intuitive, and you just sort of pick it up from talking to people, from playing a lot, and just kind of talking turkey and being like, I do this in this game, why do you do it that way? Well, you see, and kind of just really trying to come to an understanding of one another,
Yeah.
We gotta become
this
new
is the-
types.
This is the evasive one that I couldn't punish you on.
Yeah, I felt pretty okay about that, all things considered. I'm
Like,
actually
this one,
surprised yeah, there we go. I was gonna say, if I didn't get hit for that one, holy shit.
Yeah. Because, you were in the wall, I just definitely took...
I did not mean to get into the wall like that, and then here we go.
And then, yeah, I just feel like, again...
So here's the thing. Here's what I was talking about. I charged CSA. I meant to use it as a fast fall. I dropped an input.
And then you... Yeah, that's a tough one.
That was literally my one chance, because I wanted to take my momentum from a command dash and launch myself, but I missed the command dash.
Yeah, I think... Can you go back to, like, when you got up from the Zoom?
Yes.
And let's look at me.
Okay.
I'm running back now, I think.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm right next to you. You could have fucking, like, took me out.
I really could have.
Yeah, and I was not afraid of you, because I swear, I was, like, really sure, I was like, I gotta keep him off bail so he can get to this.
So the...
I don't know what I would have done if you turned around to look at me, but maybe I just, like, I don't think I was even thinking about it, but maybe it was like Legend said, like, I didn't, like, subconsciously see the lock-on indicator, and I just took advantage of that.
So I think the big thing there, I definitely could have done that, but the big thing that made me just choose to ignore you, because I definitely just chose to ignore you, was I saw that Bale bursted. And what I should have done was realize he was too far away at that point for me to feasibly actually get to him, because he had already bursted, and I should have tried to end the game on you.
Yeah,
but
probably.
It is one of those things where the other thing was, because so many of our people were so new, I was like, oh no, I have to protect my dude, because I don't think he would know how to defend himself yet from Bale. Because let's be real, I don't know how to defend myself from Bale. So basically, I was weighing the options, and I was like, I think it is better to go after the Bale against my partner that I'm pretty sure would have a very hard time defending himself. One, because he's new, and two, because he is Camille Mark II, versus trying to end the game on the Providence.
What time? When did the timer end? Actually, like, how many seconds are we talking?
40, 139.
139. Just block Bale.
No, that's actually the answer. Sometimes it wasn't here because he was bursted. It was definitely not the answer.
That was definitely not the answer right then.
I'm sorry, Occult. I will do better. I won't fail you.
No.
Go in aside. Sue me, excuse me.
A reason why this isn't, so detailed, like this This game, like you were saying earlier, this is a game, you know, you just gotta talk to people. The devs did this so that streamers can desperately make content off of this stuff.
Oh man, like no one else is making content. Like it's like Lukewarm Holiday, Minato. It's like us now. And there's a few other people, but like definitely we need more people making content for this game. I want more people to love this game because I love it.
It's a good game.
Such a good
do
game.
like this.
But like, is there anything else that you think we need to cover in this match, or do you think because like there's definitely a lot to this match, I feel.
There's a lot to this match, but I think really the only new player in this match is Dragon Cyrus. And like you know, it's again, you just gotta take the losses to get the wins later. And like hope that there's people around that if you can't, you know, read the information in your own replays, there's someone around to help you do that. And so hopefully we're able to help give Dragon Cyrus insight on his replay today.
And like overall, I think
and to help other people see like what they would expect to like critique on.
Because like the only other thing I could think of right now is potentially pulling up the Bale's perspective and being like, here's how you defend yourself against Bale, but we're gonna cover that another time. So
I mean, let's see it from Bale's perspective.
Let's do it.
I actually have that from Bale's perspective.
I picked the best fucking frame.
0.
Fucking dead. Ladies and gentlemen, Bale has fucking died.
No spoilers yet.
Oh man. Alright. So let's see how this Bale has approached and what someone could do to potentially deal with this, why he's doing the stuff he does.
It's a good follow-up.
So what a lot of people don't know is like, they're always like, oh man, Bale's melee comboing me. It sucks. Some people just seem to forget that Bale has a gun.
He does.
So this was a really good approach, and he was actively trying to call out my fast fall in this case. So... Or at the very least, he was just doing step vernier main to potentially just call out something. Maybe it wasn't the fast fall in particular, but he called out something, and that's a really strong thing to do with Bale. The only issue is he didn't have a lot of boost to continue his combo, so he just chose to end it there and not do, like, max damage.
And I think something that maybe new players do is like, if you go back to where you were just jumping past him and releasing your charge shot A.
So so the first landing he punished, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The first land, like go to like.
So right here.
You guys passed right by each other.
Yes.
I feel like a newer player might make the mistake of shooting before they landed. It was like, oh, he's super close. I'm gonna shoot it now.
Yeah.
That's like another thing. You kind of have to like hold off on the trigger there a teeny bit.
Yeah, you have to kind of guess when someone's going to land. The anatomy of a landing punish, if you would. The anatomy of a landing punish. So you see.
So
so
here. So see, yeah, you see that like Lupus Rex and Bale are near each other, both while they're like kind of at the apex of their jump, and you might think, oh, well, this is probably a good time to like shoot at him, and like maybe it could have been, but it's also like not like you would have probably risked a Bernier moment there when you didn't need to, and it would have interrupted your flow of movement.
Also, I want to see
and that's
something
kind of
real
why
quick here.
you didn't do that, and why he didn't do that.
Okay, yeah. So legit. Oh man, now I realize I could have actually faked that landing, and then Bale would have been in a much worse position.
So you're saying you could have bailed out?
Yeah, I could have totally bailed out.
No.
But essentially, like, but the thing is, he called out the fact that I wanted to do something aggressive, and he punished me for my aggression.
He did.
Super hard. Holy shit.
And I think it's like, those kind of decisions are like, just kind of like calling bluffs or not. It's like kind of like poker face in a way.
But yeah, like, literally, it's like, how can I put this? An aggressive landing is kind of like dashing in Street Fighter V, I think. where it's one of those things where if you're a newer player, you're never gonna check dashes like how you would in that. You would never check your forward moment. You would never check someone's forward momentum. But in this game, when someone's taking an aggressive landing at you, you just need to be aware that it's gonna happen, and then just call it out and shoot people for it, which is what the Bale did. And because of that, that one thing he started the game with, and then has followed up on since, has put him in a very good position.
It is. It really. It's like the first shot that kind of decided the game almost.
It really did.
It enabled him to get a lot of damage out by disrupting the positioning.
Like, my first life, I fucking disintegrated. Like, let's be
Yeah.
real. I only managed to make it through because I feel... To almost win that. Because I had a pretty decent first burst, but I still died in burst.
Yeah.
Dying in burst sucks. Try your best to not die in burst. Oh, hold up. What is this man doing? Alright, he gets the knockdown.
He's just like greeting extra damage, really.
I was more or less just kind of like... He did end up getting hit here because he wasn't paying attention to me, but I think this is a nice habit to get into when you want to melee people. And I feel like this also goes into kind of being evasive, because he looks up at me for like a second. And he's just sort of staying around the Camille Mark II and just stepping. And I feel like this is actually a pretty decent habit to get in, where if you're just sort of like chilling around for a bit on someone's Oki, and you want to sort of pressure them as they get up, instead of just standing still waiting for them, just be content to just sort of step around a little bit. I honestly think that doing stuff like this is not like a bad idea. It didn't work out for him here because I went for the monkey brain option.
I think he was probably counting on me to maybe cut into that better or something.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he did make a conscious step to avoid your charge shot.
Yes. That, I feel like that was totally the case.
Yeah. But, you know, pause it, if you will.
Okay.
I feel like he's thinking this, and it just dawned on me that I was like, you know, I'm not sure what I was talking about myself and my play and Muffler's play earlier, and we're both like, you know, we're not entirely sure what we were thinking we were doing then. And it really is kind of like this weird forensics thing where we're trying to like assess the resources that are had at the moment and try to understand what we were feeling in that moment of flow, that like psychological moment where we're literally just doing the inputs and our thoughts are reduced to like button mashes optimized.
God, pretty much. That is Gundam, actually. Optimized button mashing.
Like, I feel like it's like trying to ask someone how to do like the perfect Tetris patterns or something, and it's like I feel like they'd have trouble explaining it. Maybe it's not because I don't fucking know anything about Tetris,
they could probably explain the science of a T-spin.
Maybe.
But there's still a lot of execution that goes into it.
But then it's like there's this like moment where you're in the moment and it's like, oh, I see that T, and in a split second I know exactly where it needs to go.
Yeah. There's a lot of planning in Tetris. Like that's its own meta in and of itself. Holy shit.
It is. It is, and this is a different beast altogether, and I don't know what the heck I was thinking half the time, so...
But anywho, so let's go through the rest of this.
Yeah.
So he is currently eating it, because I'm trying to push as much damage as I possibly can.
Yeah.
Even though it is not safe, and like I probably could have done a shorter, safer combo. And yeah, this is definitely when it's checkmate. You use your burst to run away, which is really good. But... then you chose to stop running away.
Yeah.
And that would have been very helpful to you, Ramen Kiter. Or no, not Ramen Kiter. Fuck. I'm mixing up names. Dinosaurus was the name?
Dragon Cyrus.
Dragon Cyrus. I'm bad at names. I'm so sorry. Everyone's Ramen Kiter. Everyone is Ramen Kiter.
I'm incredibly anxious.
I'm very anxious. But, oh man, so is there anything else you feel we should go over, or do we have this pretty much on lock, you feel?
Unless there's, like, any blatant questions from the chat, I feel like we've probably talked about, like, most of the glaring issues in the gameplay, and remarked on, like, some of the more interesting things that happened in the match.
Okay, so, in that case, people in chat, all 26 of you, is there any question that you all might have about anything? Because even if it's something like relatively simple, I can pull it up on remote play. If it's something that I can give an answer to, Obviously, I can't give answers to everything because I am still learning every day with this fucking game. But I feel experienced enough to where if you have like a simple question or whatever, I could probably help out. And obviously, I also have Ace here, who if I don't know something, he can be like, "Look, I'll walk you through it." But
I'm bad with ground runners actually. So.
But essentially, questions about anything whatsoever, or anything to do with just the stream and how we're running stuff. 'Cause I already have a few things I'm already thinking of with that. But if not, we can actually probably end in the next little bit.
When are the next in-person lessons planned to be had, and are they not on Saturday night CEST?
Oh no, that's
No,
totally on
so-
topic. That's totally on topic.
That's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good question.
So the
Dude,
next
I-
in-person lessons, if I recall, I'm pretty sure they are going to be on. I think. We're gonna make an announcement, but I'm pretty sure they are going to be on the 26th.
I think if we're going by our schedule, we did it last week. We have the review today. This is the following Thursday. Next week, we expect a beginner lobby, I think?
Yeah, next
Um,
Saturday we're gonna be doing a beginner lobby.
So like, you know, that's more chances for people to play. We may ask if I go in, or you use the instructor account, we may ask if the people attending, if they care to be on stream or something.
Uh-huh.
Look, maybe put a message in the room as like, streamed, even though it's not streamed right then, or maybe we use it for replay.
I know that Dynamite will be the one running the lobby. To my
He
knowledge.
will be the one.
So
Yeah.
we'll probably put him on the instructor account, and then we're going to either that or you can be on the instructor account. We'll plan it out, but we'll probably end up using that to get some replays to look
Possibly.
over. I know
Yeah,
I'm not actually going to be around for that lobby, sadly, because I'm probably going to be playing DFC3.
So I think that would leave us on the 19th for the next actual lesson.
Okay, so it will
Right
either
on.
be on the 19th or the 26th.
Could be either of those.
Yeah, either of those.
We should be getting back more to that sooner. Though.
Yeah, and the plan is that's going to be once a month. We're going to be doing replay review the week after, and then we're going to be running a beginner lobby. And that's going to kind of be the rotation of events that we're running on the Newtype Academy channel.
Yeah.
And then, of course, if you all are wanting even more Gundam goodness, yeah, it's going to be Saturdays moving forward, which it's one of those days where it's available for basically most people. So I am so sorry, my
Yeah.
dude.
I'm sorry too.
Oh man, but I guess
I was spending so many lovely Saturday nights just doing nothing,
Oh man,
vegging out.
Vegging
Oh my
out.
god, I love it. I love being a Brussels sprout. But no, now I have to actually use my brain.
Damn it.
But no, no, yeah, I know how you feel though. I want to learn Brave Commander, but I can learn that the Saturday or next time in the year.
Good shit. Let's go.
Brave Commander.
That suit is
That's
like,
hard.
I want to say that suit's decently big brain, but fucking, I'm gonna say right now, overcome reasoning with your own recklessness. Just do it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know how it feels to be a boiler goblin.
Oh.
Masala's probably a little easier than Brave Commander. Masala has a benefit of like you get to like try to stay farish away, and you can spam this really fast charge shot that comes out really fucking fast.
So the thing with Masala is I feel he is actually a specialist suit. I feel like that's one of those suits kind of like the O, where you pick that suit knowing, which is, it's funny that I say like the O actually, but fuck,
Yeah.
because it's the same pilot. But like, it's actually really similar to the O in terms of like, you pick that suit and you play that suit to play that suit. You're using the things that make that suit unique, and you're like running its strengths into the ground so hard that you mitigate its
Yeah.
weaknesses. It's almost like playing a Guilty Gear character.
I mean, it's similar. Like Sheridan is a really specialist sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
Zabanya, arguably, I love fucking Zabanya. I've been waiting for that thing for years.
Oh,
You
man.
have no idea, everyone. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of suits that are like, despite being like these higher cost tiers, they're still like really specialized.
Mhm.
And they just, you gotta get their own feel for it. And sometimes they're not the best because they are so specialized. It actually puts them out of the meta, roughly speaking.
But
But
I
yeah,
guess if we're
they're-
nearing the
they're-
end of
oh.
stuff, is there anything else we would need to say, or is it time to plug things?
I think it's just time for the plugs, really.
All right. Well, if it's time for the plugs, if anyone else is interested in any more like Gundam content, feel free to hit us up in the Discord. Which let me see here. Is there not a link to that? Why is there not a link? Oh man, we need to fix that.
I don't know. I think Legend set it up. Blame Legend, not me.
Oh no, I will. Don't
He's-
worry.
He's not here.
I'll blame him later.
I can-
Don't worry. It's fine. Look, it's fine. I'm gonna blame everybody for everything later. I'm never at fault.
No, thank you for coming, Kincaid.
Let me see here. Forget about it. Fuck, I've completely
Well-
forgotten how to get an invite link for a Discord because I'm fucking spaghetti scrambling.
It's go over one of the channels. We need orientation welcome. I have the link.
Okay, post the
Read
link in the chat because I am spaghettiing super hard. Not this
Alright,
Saturday. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday will be a beginner intermediate lobby. Okay. So the 12th will be the. Okay, good to know. 12. All right, thank you guys so much for posting the Discord. For anyone who is new and would like to help learn, and would like to learn Gundam, feel free to hop into that Discord. We can answer any questions that you all might have. If you want to hit us up on all of our other shit, you can find myself on twitter.com/redmuffler, or yeah, you can find me on Twitter at redmufflerman, and I'm on Twitch as well at twitch.tv/redmufflerman, and I do Gundam on Mondays and Tuesdays. So if you want to hop into those lobbies, feel free. And then Ace Vitalu, Vitalo. Oh my god. I told myself I was not gonna get Ace.
Vu tall o
Vutalo. Vutalo.
Vutalo.
Okay.
Vutalo.
I've done it.
It's okay.
Alright.
It's not actually important. Most people just call me Ace.
Well, anywho, I need to be able to say it because you have a Twitch as well, don't you?
I do. I'm a busy scientist, so I make. This eats a lot of time into my life. The Newtype Academy. So most of my streaming will probably be to Newtype Academy in the meanwhile.
Okay, cool.
But if you do see me online, I will probably be streaming things. If you want to request to see certain suits played, I will play them to the best of my ability. I have played almost everything at least once. I will refuse requests for Tank.
And then, of course, you can find Everyday Legend at YeetKundo over on Twitter, and on his YouTube channel. Oh gosh, what is his YouTube channel? Hold up.
I actually don't know.
Hold up, I can find it. This is actually really easy. You can find him on YouTube at Basement Roadshow.
That's it.
You can find him on YouTube at Basement Roadshow. You can find BLM Dynamite on Twitter at, I believe it is at BLM Dynamite, but I am going to double check and make sure so that I don't have egg on my face. Yes, at BLM Dynamite. And he is also on Twitch. He's right in the chat, actually, at BLM Dynamite on Twitch as well. So you can follow him. And ZGMF Testament, I believe, is also just... Okay, he has a weird Twitter. Hang on. You know, I'm gonna make it a thing to where I just get all this shit on a list. Alright, and then you can follow ZGMF Testament at SHFXRD on Twitter, because Test is... I don't fucking know, man.
If you check back this channel later, you will probably have added all of this information back in here too.
I mean, here's what I'm actually planning on doing for this little square thing. I was wanting to put everyone's Twitter handles, but I didn't manage to get that in time.
I don't have a Twitter. I do have a Twitter, but it's highly secret, and there's like 2 followers.
Oh, I was only going to... I
it-
was going to put, like, your Twitch or something, I think. But, you know...
Okay,
that,
good.
it was going to be Twitter on request, essentially. So don't worry. I don't even know what your fucking Twitter is, so you're safe. But anywho, that's enough rambling from me. I've done the plugging. We will be back. Well, everyone but me, I guess, maybe, because I'm probably not going to be around for... Actually, yeah, I'm probably not going to be around for the beginner lobby. But, I will be back. But everyone else will be back for the beginner lobby on the 12th. And then you will see me again, as well as everyone else, when we're going to teach the next lesson on either the 19th or the 26th. I don't remember.
It's one of the two.
Yeah.
We will we'll make a big deal about it on Twitter. So if you do follow the Twitter for NTA Academy, you will know.
What do we consider a veteran for the Discord? Like, played a lot, high win rate?
I would think more like time served.
Okay, that's fair.
So, I mean, like, if you have a high win rate, it may be that you have a Smurf.
I mean, that's fair. I would say if you've been playing for a while and you feel you have a good understanding of the game, then put yourself as a vet, I guess.
If you know what a Zusakian is,
If you know what a Zusakian is.
And I just say that that's actually a bluff. I don't remember what a Zusakian is.
Why is Red Muffler Man here? I don't know. I don't know, man. Why is Red Muffler Man here?
But no, I'm not going to judge people for how they assess themselves. That's for them to...
Yeah, and
quietly
honestly, it's
reflect upon.
not even a big deal, honestly.
It isn't.
Yeah, it's not even a big deal. But anywho,
I will tear you all apart, limb by limb, in these replay reviews.
look, all I know is I am not an ace. Oh boy, that's all I know, because I haven't put that much time in yet.
Me neither. Don't let my name fool you.
Oh, sorry, you pilot, Futalu pilot.
I'm actually just pilot. So
Did I get?
I
You did not
I made this-
actually. I was disappointed. You weren't in any of the replays, Dynamite.
you weren't. We didn't pick yours. I'm sorry.
Well, we need.
It was actually me picking them. I'm sorry.
Oh man.
I was
But anywho.
trying to choose the ones that we can cover the most ground on.
Oh
so.
man.
And boy, did we! We've been on here for 3 hours blabbing about this.
All right, but we'll be on not this coming Saturday, but next Saturday, beginner and intermediate lobby. Hit Newtype Academy on Twitter, or hit the Discord. Look out for the announcement for the next stream. And I am currently not logged into the Twitch, so I can't actually raid anybody. So.
Is there anyone to raid?
I mean, there's always people to raid.
What if we raid yourself?
I mean, that'd be pointless. Hello?
Yeah.
Hang on. Let me take a look real quick. Is there anyone playing Gundam? Because if there's someone playing Gundam, I would definitely like to spread the love.
I am signing into the account real quick.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't really see anyone that I know. So I might just say screw it.
It is late on a weekday. We are double mobile suited up on a Thursday night.
Damn. I can't believe I'm Sazabi like this. Alright, but anywho, we're gonna clock out for the night then. So,
Alright.
have a good night, everybody. Take it easy.
Goodbye, everybody. Drive safe.